Oh, look at that. It says you are live real big now there. They did a lot of updates to StreamYard. Every time I log in, well, since we only podcast like every 2 months,
There's a new update.
there's updates and everything changes on me. So this is
Okay.
episode 238.
Okay.
And in case you forgot what you clicked on and what you are. Oh, Jason, you disappeared. Jason, did you cover up your camera?
No, it just did that, I think.
Jason has disappeared on me. See what you can do about that, Jason.
Okay.
I saw you reach for something, and it looked like that's when it disappeared.
Okay.
There you are. You're back. Now your camera's sideways, but that's cool. Will Britton saying, "What's up, dudes?"
Will.
We count
Will's the
on Will
man.
Britton to be one of our viewers.
I know.
One of our 10.
It's just like he's locked in, you know?
Locked in. It's nice to see that Will has the notifications set correctly, and when we go live, he boom.
He's the ideal follower fan.
Yeah.
And he's got his own podcast. Maybe he's just taking crib notes at this point.
Yeah, the Hobbyplex podcast.
We got to do something about Alex's hair, though.
Why? What's out? Well, at least he has hair, I guess. I can't say anything about that. But
He's been getting really out of control with the hair.
what's he doing? Just styling it all over the place?
Hold on.
Dyeing it?
I'm just trying to see if I can see the comments at the same time we're doing this. I suppose I could, just not as clean. Yeah, see?
And Will's got the notepad out and he's ready to learn.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah. So, like I was saying, this is episode 238 of the Radio Impound podcast. In case you forgot what you clicked on, what you downloaded onto your iPod Touch. Is that a thing anymore, the iPod Touch?
I was just going to ask you the same thing.
On your iPhones and your iPod Touch. Actually, I found my old iPod Touch. I think it was third generation, maybe. And I ordered a cord off of Amazon because I wanted to see what the hell was in there.
Okay.
Because, years go by, you forget. So.
I got my to-do pad here, so I'm going to make...
Yeah.
I'll make some notes while we're going along, like Will. Oh, we got Corey.
Okay. Corey Jordan.
Yep.
What's up, Corey? Left tire salute. Corey, did you go to PNB? I don't think he did because I didn't see no updates.
Yeah, I think he might have did RCGP from what I remember. I want to say he was
okay.
there.
All right.
And there was something else he was at. Maybe he went to the first race of the year, SIC. He might have went to that. That's kind of where I remember him from.
Yeah. He has to get you those race reports, right? Team J Concepts.
That's right.
Pete Phillips.
It's been a while.
Been a while to hear from Pete.
Yep.
And Pete's saying the same thing about us. It's been a while.
He's true.
Man, 2 months went by quick.
Yeah.
Corey Richardson is in the house.
TLR.
Yeah.
Regional team guy.
Oh, is he? Okay, What region?
I don't know. It's in the Midwest, I guess.
Okay.
Or he'll have to clarify.
Yeah. So Midwest, and he handles all the team drivers out there. Something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think.
I don't know what regional managers do. I see a lot of people becoming a regional manager. How do I become a regional manager?
I guess you got to apply. I don't know.
Where do you apply, though? That's the thing. Like, I never see anybody looking for a regional manager, and then I find out all these guys become regional managers.
I think you're right about that. Yeah,
I'm like,
you
what?
are right about that.
I mean, how can I apply? I mean, gee, I should be the regional manager of the Pennsylvania area. Is that such a thing, or is it like,
But which team? Like, do you got to pick a team?
oh, wow, Team X-Ray, of course.
Okay, well, that could be. See if somebody can hand you down that regional membership.
Yeah, they do. I don't know if they do regional managers. Kyle Chasen. I think Kyle Chasen's the regional manager. Also, everybody's eventually becomes a regional manager.
It's like when I was on the doing the Nitro Challenge with Tyler Hooks calling a race. I was like, man, we got a lot of regional team managers in here.
No, that seems like the new thing. Just hey, regional managers. Well, I hope they get pretty good payment for that.
That's right.
Corey's saying he did not make PNB, but I did sick and RCGP. Things went well.
That's what I said. I was pretty on target there.
Yeah. Corey Jordan runs the RC Lounge on YouTube.
Yeah. I still need to make it on there with him. Haven't been able to quite get to that yet. I have another email from another guy in my inbox right now too about a show that he wants me to be on. Then I met Callie Crawler at the drag race in Vegas. He wants me to be on and talk scale trucks on Tuesdays, I think is when they do their thing. So I'm trying to work all this in.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like to just chill too. Watch Netflix and chill, I guess.
Hello.
So
Kyle Chasen saying he's regional and United States of America team manager.
Damn.
The whole United States, he covers all that.
It's a pretty big territory.
Yeah, that is a big territory, actually. Jason Santos.
There he is.
The man, the vintage man.
Yep. He's probably wrenching right now on an RC10.
Yeah. He's like hacking away at this. I picture, like, you ever see Patrick?
Filing.
Huh?
Filing. You can
like
file.
The meme where Patrick Star from SpongeBob is. That's why I picture Jason, like he's at the bench. He's got the saw in his hand. He's got a board nailed to his head, and he's like
hammering away.
Yeah, it's Jason. He's like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing here, but I'm just sawing the hell out of this RC10 Classic.
We just released some RC10 Classic and World's Car turnbuckles.
You did?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
I should have sent that. You should have got that in the Radio Impound email account, but maybe you haven't checked it last couple days.
I forgot the I can't log into the damn thing.
What?
I'll have to check it out. I don't know. I forgot the password. Got a new phone and everything's all messed up now.
Way to be on it.
It's pretty sad, isn't it?
Way to be on it.
You know what? I'll make a point to log into my old phone, check the email, then I'll reply like I used to do to you. Remember? I used to be like, oh.
I did. Yeah, you'd say, what's this?
Yeah.
What's this crap? That's what it'd say. Send out a brand new tire release like the ellipses. It's just like, I get an email back. What's this crap?
Yeah, what the F is this? Nice write-up, though.
We got Jeff Storm.
Oh, he's one of his two favorite people.
For 1 and 2.
Only two people or the only two that he knows, probably.
That he likes.
Oh, okay. And the fabulous one, Barry Baker.
There he is. I was telling Barry that he needed to get into drag racing. When I was at the drag race, I just felt like he would be really good at that. And he's like,
I mean, what
he's telling me that he wouldn't be into it, but I was like, I disagreed. I think he'd be really into it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess I don't know. He might be.
So I guess we should explain since our last show, which you said was in March.
Yeah.
We've had several events. We had a Desert Classic. We had the Roar Nationals for 8 scale, which happened early. Then we had a race that we did in early April. We were in Vegas. Actually, late March, early April, we were in Vegas for our carpet NCTS kickoff at 702 Raceway, and then we stayed extra time out there and attended the King of the Streets 2022. That's where I was talking to Barry, and then just recently we had PMB. So it's been a busy year, to say the least. Almost too busy. Just trying to all the front-loaded schedule with the Roar Nationals in there this year at the beginning of the year, and that happened real quick. And yeah, I mean, I used to remember so many details about these events and each and every detail, and it's getting harder and harder just with they're happening so quickly.
Oh, I thought you were going to be Alzheimer's or something.
Well, I mean, it could be that too. I don't know. What'd you say?
Old timers.
Yeah. But yeah, that was kind of the schedule. We went through a lot of big events, that Roar Nationals at Adobe that went really well. We didn't mention there was a RCGP event in there in between. That was in South Carolina.
Yeah.
So we've had a ton of events going on, and we kind of set a record earlier this year at DNC with 900 and something entries they had there. That was in February, and now they just kind of reset over at PMB. They had over 1,000 entries at PMB.
Oh man.
So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you were telling me. Very low following for Gotti, except I don't know. Like, how is it for everybody else?
It sounds good on my end.
Jason had me turn it down in the beginning because he said it was too loud. Now Doyle's saying I'm very loud.
You can turn it up, and I'll turn my headset down.
All right, Doyle, you're the volume checker, and let me know if it's it's still low. Well, it's not going to be low on the recording, so listen to the audio version. But in the meantime, I'm going to go in here and look at the settings. But Jason, you can hear me fine, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's showing fine on StreamYard. But go ahead, Jason. You can just go ahead while I figure all this out.
I can just keep going.
Yeah, you can keep going. I just don't understand why I'm low.
Yeah, Roar Nationals, Dakota.
Oh, Jeff Storm's saying it's fine for him, so we're good.
Well, we were talking about the entries at the races, first of all, I guess. 1,000 entries plus at PMB, which that's a record. I've never seen a race that size before. And then the amount of people. There was 400 plus people making up that over, 1,000 entries, which I thought was pretty good. Normally, you could get those numbers if 300 and something people ran 3 or 4 classes, but it's pretty good. It's still over 400 individual people. That's a lot at one race.
That race went on till like 2 in.
Yeah, that's when the mains finished. I'm not really a fan of that kind of schedule. Oh
yeah, Justin Juber, who went, his main didn't go off till, or no, his buddy was racing.
Yeah.
I forget what class, but it was one of the sportsman class, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And they put them towards the end. They had the pros run first, or fairly early.
Mm-hmm.
And his buddy didn't go off till like 2 a.m. or something. I'm like, wow, crazy.
Yeah, I know. The next day, I woke up to texts from Mayfield with pictures of him pitting Adam Drake at like 1 a.m. So, like I went to sleep, I woke up the next day and I got these pictures from Ryan where he's like got his pit bag already. He's pitting Drake. And it's like, I'm like, when did I get these? It's like 1 something in the morning. So pretty good. I mean, it is, that's what that race is.
Yeah.
And some people like it. I should say some people love it. Some people like it. It's not my style. But you know, like we ran our race in Vegas, which was just, a few weeks before. And of course, we're dealing with a completely different event, completely different entry count, everything. But, they started at 8 or 9 and we were done by 6. And that's kind of the schedule I could race in. Like it has to be kind of normal hours. Otherwise, I just kind of like, I start to, like, to me, I don't feel like I'm racing anymore. I just kind of start making fun of it.
Making fun of it.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'll just go out here and crash around. Like it just becomes like a joke to me.
Right.
So yeah, those are the hours to me that work well for me. But I was telling someone a story the other day. We were running Motorama one year, and that's when the 10 scale side was really big, and the 8 scale they had nitro over there. And I'm like, 3 rounds of qualifying. I'm looking at the Browns. I'm like, you know what? I could get one more better run in this last round. It was the situation was like, I could be like, just say whatever a number is. I could be 7th, but if I got a really good run in, maybe I could be 3rd overall qualifier, right? Something to that effect.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, I'll stay late, get this other run in, try to qualify a little bit better. And it was really late when this qualifier happened, and I ran horrible. And I just remember thinking, I waited here all this time, and I'm not going to improve on my position. My plan was not good. I should have just left and stuck with where I was and had the better night's sleep for the next day. That would have been the better choice there. Or at least I think.
Corey Jordan saying PNB is an awesome race, but the lines of practice need to be fixed. So
yeah, that's a little bit of a complaint people have. There is a really long practice line, and of course there is 20 practice. Of course it is. I believe practice is 24 hours unless they've changed it. I think that you probably could set up for a time period that would be there are less people there. But if you want to run the normal hours when everyone else wants to be there, that line went all the way around and up the stairs.
Yeah, somebody posted a video, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
Mm-hmm.
So how do you fix it though? You can't fix it. Just eliminate practice. That's it.
Well,
I saw somebody mention that. Just eliminate practice.
Well, yeah, somebody mentioned just run another round of qualifying. Run a round of qualifying.
Well, that might not solve the problem.
Well, instead of doing that practice, you just start where everybody is signed up, what heats they're in, and you run through a round, so everybody gets practice in each one of their cars, and then you go into qualifying. I think that was kind of what was mentioned.
Okay.
Which would work.
Yeah, Gilbert's saying highly likely his last PNB. Oh.
There are other events to attend, and even race time entertainment races. AMS is always one that people really seem to like. And that was my favorite one when we started going. The track's been a lot bumpier in the last, probably 4 or 5 years. But when we first started going there, I loved that place. I thought we even had a race there. I liked that condition so much. We scheduled a race to have there. And this is probably 10 years ago, though. But it's always been a pretty good location. The Mugen Challenge, I'm sure, is going to be a good one to go to. That's there at LCRC.
Yeah, that should be coming
but
up.
of course, their turnout's going to start creeping up there. A couple of years ago, they had 400 there, so I wouldn't be surprised that they get into the 500 plus range. Really, what it comes down to is this is just kind of the ongoing conversation, but it's a balance between the race promoter taking as many entries as they can to make it profitable versus what's good for the racer. Yeah, I think
Corey's
everybody,
asking, how does DNC do practice?
they traditionally they do 2 rounds of, you get one whole round of like a qualifying round, and then you get another round going through like a qualifying round, and those are your 2 practice. But this year it rained, so they only got one. Everybody only got 1 practice run, and then they went into qualifying. So I think what it is the reason the whole idea of PMB when they started was to have a 24-hour practice session. That's what that's what the whole idea was when they started. They wanted to have this that's the name of it. It's a psycho event. And that is what they wanted. They wanted this 24-hour feel. So you could go practice, and once practice opens, you could go practice anytime. And then racing is pretty much going on 24 hours a day. It is going on pretty much 24 hours a day. So that is the idea of the race. It's the most amount of racing you can get in 3 or 4 complete days, however you want to look at it. And it's not for everybody, but as Paul and I have been talking about, the race is only getting bigger. It's not getting smaller.
Yeah.
So they're obviously doing something right for themselves or for the race. But there are a lot of other events out there to run and to have a good experience. I think that from my standpoint, I like these races that are, when we do 200 entries or we do 350 entries, somewhere in the middle of those is probably the right number for the most enjoyable weekend. But sometimes attending these things, and I think the other thing is you can't just run one class. That's the whole problem, is once the race gets so large and you only run one class, it's really kind of pointless. You have to run more classes, so you're a little busier throughout the time, so you're a little more psycho. I mean, that's really how it is.
Yeah.
If you run one class, you're just waiting too long.
Or you're psycho for running one class.
Yeah, and you
that's what
really
Jubert
need
did.
to. You got to run 3 or 4 classes. That's how you.
3 or 4.
Yeah, 3 or 4, man. It's psycho.
Good God. That's true. Psycho. Yeah.
Yeah, you run a 40 plus nitro buggy, then you run like intermediate, and then or sportsman,
and then pro,
and then no, you run those 2. Then you pick a truggy. You could run a truggy class, and then like a e-buggy or e-truggy. I mean, there's so much. Sometimes you have enough time, you could probably have a chassis for a vehicle, and you could just switch the clips on and off and have a nitro truggy and an e-buggy.
Oh my God, sounds like a lot of work though. A lot of equipment too.
But these guys don't care about the work.
I think Jubert does.
Maybe.
I could get an audio check by you guys too. I want to make sure it's okay.
I'm still hearing good.
Yeah. No, guys in the chat, really, they're watching on Facebook and YouTube. So.
How we doing now? We doing good?
Yeah, no, you're fine. I just want to make sure my audio's fine. I mean, I turned it up. It's showing it's great, but they're saying I was a little low earlier. So my apologies. Hey, Ronnie Rifkin's checking in, saying you're a serious podcaster, Jason.
He's right. I am.
You are.
I like his Facebook profile picture. I think I shot that.
Man,
I think I was.
you shot someone else's. Oh no, is that the one you said you shot before too, Ronnie's?
I don't think so. I
Or
think it was
someone
another
else's you
one.
did too at some
I'm
wedding.
an amateur photographer.
Amateurs, right? You take that with your iPhone?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So practice. Well, all you can do is cap the entries. Then that's
Well,
what.
then there's that.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there is no cap on the entries for PMB.
It's only limited to as many as you can get.
I mean, I think they might have to cap that. It's
It's the
awesome that you're
ultimate
getting all those entries.
situation, though. It's the ultimate situation for them
Or limit. Yeah.
because it's got the right name. So anything that
Exactly.
happens,
It's
you
psycho.
can say it's psycho.
Yeah. That's what you can tell
So
your boss
it's
the next day when
yeah,
you have to cancel going into work for Monday.
yeah. You should see if it works on that end as well, right? Like if you're a racer at the race and they say, "Hey, I'm here a little late," you know, "Hey, buddy, you signed up, man. It's a psycho." You go to work the next day, "Hey, buddy, you're a little late," and you're just like, "Hey, it was
Yeah.
psycho. What can I say? I mean, it is what it is, dude."
Right.
And then they say, "Huh, okay, I get it."
Jeff Storm. I will get back to your question, Jeff. Jeff's got a question about staying in the lead and not getting nervous. We'll go back to that.
Oh
Though.
wow.
Barry Baker's saying AMS was cool last year with limited entries and structured practice by heats.
There you go. Barry's been to just about as many races as me, so he's got a handle on the
Yeah,
situation.
he's been to a few. But I mean, looks like that's what you got to do.
And you know what? Unfortunately, the issue with that was that event wasn't as successful. That's the part that is really tough because what they did in order to limit the entries, they charged more per person for the entries, and they didn't get as many as they wanted. So from the organizer standpoint, it was not a success.
Right.
And from the racer's perspective, I heard a lot of guys liked it. They actually had too much track time. They were like, I remember, I think Mayfield was just like, "Look, I'm tired of running. Like, let's just start the mains." Like he's like, they kept qualifying. It was like qualifying was based off of, I think like a 3-lap kind of thing where your best 3 consecutive laps, and then they were doing that. Then they had like semifinals, and then they had like a then they had like a super pole. They had like a super pole. I forget. There was many different things, and I remember he was just like, "You know what? Track time definitely was not an issue at that one." He's like, "We got more than enough track time." So,
You know what?
yeah, it's that and what they're doing is they have events, and this is something that we used to do with our Super Cup Indoor National Series, is we could test things on the Super Cup, and then we could kind of bring them into the National Series if we really liked the direction or the class or whatever the case may be. And so that's kind of how we use that. And they have enough events where they can test things like that. And that's what they use that event for, is it was a test. And, and I'm sure if you asked a racer, they're going to say, "Hey, which race did you like?" They'll be like, "Oh, AMS was great as a racer." But then if you ask the promoter or the organizer, they're going to say, "Oh, that race sucked." They're going to say, "We liked PMB. That was our race. That was our favorite." It's like,
Jesus
okay, well,
Christ, looks like there's no way around this.
Two separate. It's two separate perspectives. So
you know what? Screw it. Just go for as many entries as you can.
Hey, it's psycho.
That's right, psycho. You convinced me. It's psycho. Just do what you got to do.
And maybe that's the number one thing. It's like, hey, if this isn't your thing, you choose a different race.
Yeah, you don't like it, leave.
Yeah, you don't have to run it. Yeah. But maybe it's right in the word that maybe they came up with the ultimate name to describe it.
Right.
And all things fall back to the name. Any complaint you have, hey,
screw it.
Yeah,
it's psycho. You psycho.
Any praise you have, you say, hey, you know what? Psycho. You know,
Yeah.
you like the Psycho
Now I'm
stuff.
thinking about it. I want to see more entries next year. Just so
Yeah, 1,500.
that'd be awesome.
Honestly, it's really tough to get any. They would have to add days because they've already got the most cars they can get on the track. They got 18 cars on the track. So it's an 18 car main, every main. So I don't think they can put any more cars on the track or drivers on the driver's stand. So that's kind of maxed out. They've running as late as they can into some of these days. So the only way to have a bigger race, and they took a qualifier away, so they actually only had 2 qualifiers, not 3. So I think the only way to take more entries is to add another day, but traditionally, when you add another day, you lose entries. So I
You know
don't.
what? Let's take away a day and add more entries. Let's go totally psycho.
Well, it gets to the point where you'd have 1 round of qualifying in the mains. That's what you could do. If you had 1,500 entries, you'd probably have 1 round of qualifying and you'd go right into the mains.
Let's just do a lottery. Let's skip qualifying and just do a lottery for the mains.
Yeah, you are what you are. Like, it's like Mayfield's in the D main. He's like, hey,
Yeah.
buddy, it's Psycho. Bump up.
That'd be awesome. Lance McDonald saying many people didn't come because of limited practice.
It's really hard to figure what everybody wants. But, like I said, they got 4 or 5 events. They can experiment. They're all a little different. And that's kind of the flexibility that they have. I mean, Lance ran the races. He's the guy that really kind of bears the ugliness, if you will. Like he has to take the complaints and he has to actually stay up all those hours. So, and he handles it. And everybody likes him. They like that he's direct. He handles it. It doesn't matter who you are. He lets you have it. And yeah, everybody likes when he does the races.
Lance also said 1 class is boring.
It is. It's Psycho. You got to go for 3 or 4.
Yeah.
See, but with maybe Jubert's just too much of a rookie here. He hasn't figured out. You run a different class than your buddy, and then you pit each other. So, like, say he runs sportsman, you run intermediate, you pit each other, and then that's how you work your way around that. You gotta have all the tricks. That's how you. Which he knows, but I was just kind of kidding.
Yeah, we're busting on Jubert here.
No, not busting on him. Just
you're giving him suggestions. Then
you got to go in, run 3 or 4 classes.
Yeah. So next year, Jubert, go to PNB and run 3 or 4 classes. I expect that to happen. Justin Doyle saying perfect race for the Mayfield Challenge. Build kit there and race it.
Yeah, that was my idea a couple of years ago on the podcast. Was
Mayfield Challenge?
Well, no, it was the idea was I wanted to always do a race where you showed up and you had to build your stuff there, tune it, and race it that weekend. So, like, when you got there, you opened up your kit box and you started building.
Oh, that would suck.
You build it, and you got to practice with it. You tune it, and then you race it right there.
Can you imagine me trying to do that? It'd take me like days to build my kit.
Well, that's the thing. It's like if you finished.
So if you finish in an amount of time. So it's sort of like those cooking shows where you got like 30 minutes to make something awesome.
Well,
so
it essentially you would have, at some point you had to practice, so you got to get it out there for practice. Right. So it could be where, you got to finish and.
We could put a time limit on how long it takes you to build. Like, you got this much time to build this kit and get out there and practice.
Yeah, we'll say practice is on Friday, and
okay,
starts early on Friday. Thursday morning you start.
So Thursday you have to show up to get your kit.
Yeah, that's when you start building.
Right.
and then you're on the track with it on Friday. Now,
I guess it's no problem for these guys because they can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can
But if you
build
get
some of these things pretty quick, but
an 8 scale though, man. Like,
yeah, I mean,
I guess these guys are fast at it. It
of
would take me
course,
days.
of course, the first thing everyone's going to say is, well, can you finish it at the hotel and then take it out to the track the next day, or do you have to build it all at the track, or do you can you have your pit guy help you build it? Because then it's like say the first people I think they're going to finish in my mind right off the top of my head is Gord and Ty Tessman. They're going to be finished before everybody because
within an hour.
Yeah, they're going to have that thing on the track in an hour, right?
Yeah.
And you'll be like, wait a second, the paint's still wet on the body.
Oh yeah, what do you do about that?
You got to paint the body.
Are you serious?
Yeah, you got to paint the body too.
It's gonna be a lot of one color paint jobs.
Yeah, it would be one color wonder. At first I think you practice.
Unless guys like Mayfield, they probably bring their own painter.
And Larry Genova's out there.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Larry, I'm gonna be ready in an hour. Liquid mask is still dry.
Wow, so you got to paint the body too.
Well, I think that would be to practice, and then by the time you start qualifying, you could run your paint job just to make it so it's not. But I always thought it would be kind of cool because my idea would be for nobody to help you. Would be if you're driving it, you have to build it there, you have to adjust it, and then you get out there and you drive it. I think that would be a really kind of a fun thing because you would see the I think you would see even more of the people that are good at what they do. You would see more of the hobbyist and the person that builds a nice car that quickly and can tune it. I think it's a little bit to their advantage, and I think that would be kind of neat. You'd have kids that if their dads do all the work for them, they wouldn't be as competitive because they like Justin said, no dads allowed. So I think, that would be a limitation.
And so, like a pro, like Fend, he wouldn't be able to have like Barry Baker build his kit.
Barry can't build it.
He's got to stay away.
Dakota.
Not that those guys know how to do it anyway.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I mean, he doesn't need
what a pit guy helps you do is at that level is they help you organize things so that you have more time to think about other parts of the event. Yeah, I mean that.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like you put me in a room, and I have to build my kit within a certain amount of time. It'd be very interesting to see what I come out with.
Yeah, I think one of the other aspects I had was, and this was something I think we did talk about on another podcast, but it was the race started at a certain time, and basically you had to have the car out there at that time. So there was a time. That was another aspect that could be incorporated if you want. Was, hey, this race that you're in starts at 11 a.m. and you got to be out there, first guy to get out there. So there's a lot of things you could do with that, which I think would be fun. I think it'd be neat to show up and but this isn't about, a lot of these events are about entries and numbers, and it becomes a money thing and becomes a lot of different things. You wouldn't be able to do. It wouldn't be that type of thing. It would be a much different style of event. This would be more almost like it'd be like a combination between like a pro-am and something else. But
so
I just thought it would be a really neat idea because
but
you have to do it there. You have to do it there.
Maybe you covered this and I missed it, but who's bringing the kits or who's providing the kits?
Yeah, I think that was another item that we talked about where
because obviously somebody like Dakota's got to have a Losi kit. Mayfield's got to have Yokomo or
Yeah.
Mugen.
The idea that we had at that point was if it was something you were actually offering as a class to say, just say it was a sportsman driver, then you would have an agreement with a certain manufacturer that everybody in that class would use that particular kit. So, like, say for instance, you had a deal with, say, a TLR, and they said, and you were like, they're the sponsor of this. I forget what I called it, but I had a name for the whole class. But essentially, you had this deal with TLR where anybody that signed up got their entry fee was, X, but all that came with was they got the ability to get all this equipment, and then at a huge discount.
Okay.
So it was kind of part of the entry. So it's multiple things. It's a race, but you're also getting you're getting this equipment. So it might be like kind of look like a big sticker price to get into it, but at the end of the weekend you leave with a new car, you leave with all this stuff that was part of the event. So and like I said, this is something completely different because it's a completely different side to it.
Brian Cross is saying on-road scene has already been doing this with the Tamiya Euro truck.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's probably a good point. I've never participated in it, but I remember some drivers doing this a while ago with the Euro truck. I can't remember if they had to build the whole thing, or there might have been one I saw where something came pre-built too. But and that's Euro truck, and they were pretty cool. But I'm kind of seeing this as being a little nicer vehicle in general. I think the Euro truck is cool. I mean, I bought one, and we were thinking about making a body. Yeah, we were thinking about making some tires and wheels and a body at one time for that. But yeah, I'm seeing this like 10 scale off road. The ultimate would be to do it in 8 scale and at some level, but you could a little more easily do it in 10 scale. And I had a whole program written down somewhere that was this format, but
that's interesting. Okay. Jason Santos is a BYOK. Bring your own kit.
Bring your own kit.
Mark Pavitas is saying make everyone run Clodbusters.
That would be a good idea.
Okay. How about that? Jeff Storm saying I could build a kit in 8 hours, so these races would not be for me. It would be fun though. Wow, 8 hours seems quick to me, but how long does it, Jason, if you were to build an 8 scale kit or one of your guys, I mean, how long does it normally take?
I think it takes a full day.
Wow, really?
I think Mayfield can do one in a full day. Yeah.
Mayfield opening up an 8 scale kit in one day?
Yeah, I think he can
within hours. Not even.
Yeah, I think not 24-hour day, but I think like an 8-hour day. I think he could be out there.
Wow. So Mayfield's not much better than Jeff Storm building a kit, you're saying? I don't know. I just picture Mayfield just going at it and getting it done in 2 hours. Guess not. Wow, man, can you imagine how long it would take me to build an 8 scaler?
It'd be a while.
Should I do one? Should I build an 8 scale? I'll do a what do they call that, time lapse thing?
Yeah.
Or maybe I should
an unboxing video. There's not enough of those out there. Let's do another unboxing video.
I need an X-ray 8 scale. I think I'll wait for the 2023 though version.
We need more unboxing videos. That's what we need.
There's not a lot of people doing them.
And
On
how to build a diff. I've never seen. That's like the biggest thing is to build a diff.
I thought I watched Adam Drake
There's
build a diff.
2,600. Yeah, there's 2,600 videos on how to build a diff. I think.
Oh, there is.
I'm just joking that there's a lot.
Oh, I didn't know there was. I thought you were saying there wasn't enough of them.
No, there's
so
a
I was
lot,
like, oh,
yeah.
well, I thought I watched one with Adam Drake building a diff or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I mean that's pretty good. Watching Drake build one, he's doing it right. What was I watching? I was watching some of Mayfield's videos too.
He's got a diff video.
Oh, maybe it was Mayfield I was watching then.
It's a diff.
Just
video.
recently, because remember I said, hey, I didn't know Mayfield had a
diff.
well, no. No, I don't know why I never... Did I just stumble on his YouTube channel or something? Because I was in the chat. We were in the chat, and I'm like, hey, Jason, what up? I didn't know Mayfield had a YouTube channel.
No wonder he's so fast. No wonder he's so fast. He's got a YouTube channel, and he can build a diff.
Yeah. I like those videos, though, especially when he was touring his, his workspace and stuff like that.
Yeah, people seem to like the...
Jackson Anderson saying Spencer has a diff build video for 8 scale.
See, I told you. It's like the most popular thing.
Well, it's probably one of the most crucial things along with tuning the nitro engine.
The shocks. How to build shocks and how to build a diff.
Oh, that's what I watched. The Mayfield in his new, the engine. The Mayfield engine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought that was a good video.
He did an unboxing. He did a good job with it.
Gotta
I'm not
have
just saying that
unboxing.
either. He did.
Gotta have unboxing videos.
And that thing's tuned by Adam Drake already when you take it out.
Broken in.
Oh, well, broken in, yeah, because you got to
Yeah.
tune it to your weather conditions and track conditions, I guess.
I don't know, is that what you guys used to say at Trinity?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know, man. I love Nitro. Just scared to death to even... I mean, if I build one, obviously I'm not going to... Maybe I'll race it once.
You would do a race where you have to build it in a day.
I
would be struggling.
I guarantee you. If it takes Mayfield close to a day, it would take me... I can't even tell you. I mean, I guess a week. A solid
You know what
week,
I would get to?
8 hours a day.
Like, I would be okay, like, getting the car where it didn't have shocks on it. It was just like all the suspension was on. And then I'd get to the point where I got to build the shocks and then put in the electrical, like say this is a 2-wheel. And I would just be like, oh, man.
I can't do
I'll do this
electrical.
tomorrow. I was
I
like,
see
I'll do
these
this.
Guys. Yeah, I guess these guys now, they offer this service where you can get the wires pre-shortened already and stuff, and then just like...
Where's Wally builds?
Yeah, like that would be awesome. Like I would definitely
He
buy
would set
into
up
that
at this
service.
event and just have a line of cars to wire up.
Because I would never be able to do when I build my 8 scale, I wouldn't be able to do the obviously the nitro tuning of the engine. There's no way. I would need to go to the race and have one of you guys help me.
OTL.
Tune the engine. But it seems like it'd be a little bit easier to do work on an 8 scale because the parts are bigger. As you get older, I think the 10 scale parts are a little too small.
Too dainty.
Yeah. So I would love to try. A lot of times I'm looking at the X-Ray site and I'm like, man, I want to order this car. This car's like, what am I going to do with it? Really, I don't have all the equipment to build the kit. I'm sure the tools they give you can't even really use, right?
I don't know that anybody gives tools anymore in the kit.
Yeah,
maybe like some
pointless.
Real basic, maybe like a shock tool, or that's like multi-purpose for like a turn. I don't even know. Like kits are a lot different today than they used to be because they felt obligated in the old days to put tools and building items in there because it was like a hobby and that they were assuming you were starting from the beginning. But I think in today's day, if you're buying a kit, they're almost assuming the opposite, that you have experience and that you're building this without experience and you have everything. So it's kind of flip-flopped from the way it used to be. Like say in the 80s when they made the RC10, it was like they were probably concerned about a lot of those things. Oh, how are they they need Allen wrenches and they need, you got to have a charger, and they were trying to like incorporate a lot of these things into it. And now it's like, oh, they'll have that. Oh, they'll have that.
Oh, so they just assume, yeah.
I think more so streamlined the. So they're assuming, you have some experience, or at least you may have some access to tools or something like that.
Right. Yeah, I get in the mood, especially when I'm watching Nitro. I'm like, man, I want to build a kit and just, have it here in studio. Where am I going to race? I mean, I guess LCRC.
Yeah. Be out there with Jubert.
Yeah, I would go out
down.
there just to try and beat Jubert. And if I did, he might as well retire. Just give up racing if I beat
You would retire.
No, I would retire, obviously, but Jubert would have to quit racing too, because there's no way. I mean,
It would be like a it'd be like a wrestling thing, or like a retirement match.
Yeah. I'm throwing down the gauntlet. I guarantee you right now, if I got a kit, 8-scale kit, build the kit, and go to LCRC and meet up, in the same race with Jubert. Well, I don't have to be in the same race. I would out-qualify him, be in a higher main, and that would take care of it right there.
Mugen Challenge there.
Yeah, Mugen Challenge. Well, not that soon. Jesus, that's right around the corner. Maybe Mugen Challenge next year. Because I want to wait for the 2023 model of the X-Ray.
The X-Ray. We would be like, Gotti, you started on that kit? Gotti, you started on that kit yet? I haven't even cracked
and they'll
the
be
seal.
out with the 2024.
Yeah, they'll have a new model.
Every 6-month cycle, right?
Because if you're going to wait on the 2024, you might as well wait on the 2025.
And for you people in the chat, that is a main. Jason knows this. That's a main problem with me. Like when I want to buy something, I'm always thinking, well, what if I wait? For the next version.
Wait for the new model.
Yeah, and then I wait for the new model, and it starts coming, and then I'm like, well, I'm about to wait for the next one. I end up not buying anything.
Except
I could do the consoles like PlayStation because it's an every 7-year cycle.
Damn.
So if you buy one, you're not going to be outdated within 6 months. Where RC, it seems like I buy a kit and within a year, I'm going to want the new one, right?
Yeah.
You got to be cool at the track. You can't show up with the older version. I think that's
out there with a B5.
But that's a big problem I have. Like I look at these kits and I'm like, wow, I'll wait for the next one because obviously they'll upgrade it, make it better, and then I'll wait for the next one. Anyway,
at that point, you might as well wait for the 2025.
That's why I never.
Model.
Yeah, right. Jason, Mark Pavita says Jason remembers going to Japan 10-scale Worlds and Yokomo handing us a kit in a bag where most of the parts didn't fit.
Yeah, that used to be a big thing for Yokomo. Is we would show up at these Worlds.
Mark said pasties though. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh,
so you had to build a kit.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's a situation where we actually had to build a kit at the race and then run it. So maybe we have done this already, as Mark is suggesting.
Was it like a Ziploc bag of full parts?
No, it would be just a poly bag with no Ziploc with staples in it. And it was like, here's your car in a bag.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and you know what? At the time, from my perspective, it was like almost a little exciting because you're like, oh, I just got a new car. No one's got these cars yet, and I get to build it and race it at this race. But from like almost like a Mark standpoint, he was like in a position where he could win, or in this case, actually did win the race. It probably is a little more annoying, which it was annoying either way, because you're thinking, I got to go to the Worlds, fly somewhere, and then I have to start building my kit when I'm there. But there was an excitement factor. We didn't plan to do anything. Back then, they had a day in between 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive where you'd build your car. I can't imagine how the guys would complain today about this situation, but yeah, that's how we did it. And Yokomo was probably the they were the industry leader of dropping the new car on you before the race started. And I mean, Mark ran, he probably did it more times than that one. I think in '97 we got a car before the Worlds from Yokomo that we had to build pretty quickly before the event, and I remember that being a disaster. I've talked about that a few times. That whole car was a disaster. But the one we had in '95, that was actually my favorite Yokomo car that they've ever had. That was a great car. It was very easy to use. It didn't break. It was a great car.
Jeff Storm saying Nitro is awesome, but can't get tuned worth of crap, so gave up on it as soon as I started. Sounds like what I would do. Electric for the W.
What I see at the Nitro races now is I think a lot more people have a good handle on how to get their stuff working well, and they're doing a better job than they ever have. The average racer, I think, is looking better and doing better in Nitro than they ever have.
Jackson Anderson saying, would rebuilding an 8 scale be faster than building a new kit? A new kit, 8 scale, granted that you're cleaning the used car and reassembling.
I think it depends how far you're tearing down the other car. I mean, are you taking the shocks completely apart to where, the rod ends are off the shafts? And I mean, I'm sure you could rebuild a car faster than building a new kit, but if you took your used car as far apart as a new car, then, then cleaning it and putting it back together would probably be more work than building a new car. I think when people rebuild, they don't, there's certain things they don't do that you would normally do when you build a brand new kit. So in general, I think the rebuild's quicker, but it depends how far you're taking it down. If you take it down all the way to the way it started, it's probably more work. Well, it is more work because you had to disassemble it, then reassemble it.
All right, Mark Pavitas is heading out. He said, terrible show. Oh, no, he said, good show, guys. Got it on. Okay.
All right. See you, Mark.
Yeah, see you, Mark. Thanks for dropping by. Oh, and if you'd like to join into the show, you can do that by clicking the link. There's a link in the description on Facebook. You can be thrown backstage if you want to be on, and when we can get to you, I'll throw you up on the...
God, he has some interview questions he does backstage.
In the green room there, yeah.
Yeah, in the green room.
Yeah, you can go in the green room, and we'll see if you're worthy of...
snacks. What kind of snacks we got back there?
Yeah. The Oreos. So, yeah, you can, if you want to, you can join in, go into the green room, grab some Oreos. Dip them in your favorite seltzer.
You dip Oreos in seltzer?
Sure, why not?
Do you do that?
Sure.
Oh, man.
Unflavored seltzer. Gives a little... Then you bite into the Oreo and you get the little bubbles as you're eating the Oreo. You ought to try it, Jason.
This is new for me.
You ought to try it.
I'm not a big dipper. Like...
You dip?
Like in general. Like, I'm not like a cookie dipper or like, like a French fry dipper. Like,
oh, really? You don't you don't French fries in the mayonnaise?
No.
In the ice cream?
No. Yeah. No.
McDonald's fries dipped into their ice cream.
That's the best.
Yeah. Brian Cross wants to know that you're talking about the 95. What was the 1995 the Super Dog Fighter?
To be honest, I don't remember what they called it. I mean, their names were so hard to follow. The one they actually Mark won the race, and they actually made a version with his name on it. I think there was a Pavitas edition Yokomo
What?
'95 model.
There
Yeah,
was?
yeah.
And I wish more companies would do the editions, like the Mayfield, which they did, Yokomo. But TOR, how about doing a Dakota edition? I like that. I like that instead of all these different numbers and.
You don't want an elite.
No, I don't want an elite.
You want give you a fend. You're like, let me delete the elite. How does it go?
delete the elite. Try and say that.
Delete the elite and can give me a fend edition.
Give me a Dakota Fend edition kit. Right down the line, the 8 scale, 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive. Just make it Dakota. He's the hottest driver, right now, along with Mayfield. Give all those guys their own kits. Mayfield edition, Dakota edition. Associated could do the Rivkin.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather have that than all these numbers. Because when Associated recently announced the, was it Associated?
Yeah.
Well, I guess TOR did too, the Elite, like you said, and then Associated released a .4.
0.4.
Yeah, can we just call these Rivkin editions or Rona edition? How about a Jason Rona edition with all the J concept parts in it?
Hey, I wouldn't necessarily disagree.
That would be epic.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Kirby Hand Oval edition had all of Kirby Hand's whatever he used. That's what he had. The purple flaked graphite, all the tricked out detailing on that was personally designed by Kirby Hand. 12 scale Oval edition.
What was really cool is I think they set a record selling those. They sold 35 or 36 of them.
Now, come on. We sold a lot of those things. I actually had to order more of them.
Wow.
12 scale oval at that time was huge. And Kirby, and there was nobody bigger than Kirby Hand in oval. 10 scale and 12. Actually, we should have had a 10 scale version named after him. I never understood that.
Yeah.
I'm being honest with you.
Okay.
Oh, dude, Jeff Storm hit it. Got any flaming hot Cheetos backstage? I do, because that's one of my favorite snacks.
Really?
Oh, I love flaming hot Cheetos. They have the puff version, Jeff. I don't know if you tried the puff version. They have the crunchy flaming hot Cheetos, but then they have the puff version, which I can't really. I can find it at my local Sheets. Jason, you know what a Sheets is.
Yeah, I like Sheets.
So the Sheets down the road from me has it, but the Sheets anywhere else around here does not have them. So I have to go down there, and then they're so good, they're always out of them. If you find a bag or a few, you got to buy them all up. It's like they're really good. They're one of my favorite. Jackson Anderson's dipping fries and ranch. See this? He's also doing Wendy's fries and Frosties is the best. Okay, he's taking the Wendy's fries and dipping it in Frosties.
Okay.
So we get back here. Trevor Adam was saying YZ10. You know what that's about, Jason?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the original name of the Yokomo 4-wheel YZ10.
Oh, but you weren't building that one.
Well, no, we had YZ10s. They were all called YZ10 something.
Oh.
So like even that Pavitas edition was like YZ10, whatever Pavitas edition.
Wow. Okay. Gotcha. Actually, we have somebody backstage, Michael Han. Han? I'm saying that wrong. It's got Kirby Hand on my mind. We could add him to the stream, right, Jason?
Yeah.
Let's see how this works here. See if it works. Michael, there he is.
How you doing?
Michael Han, right?
Yes.
I got that correct. See that?
Yeah, you got that right. How
I
you
got
doing?
it wrong the first time, though. I said Hand. I was thinking of Kirby Hand, and then I said Michael Hand.
Right. No, it's Han.
Han. There you go.
And I saw Michael at the drag race.
How you guys doing?
I saw him at the drag race in Vegas.
Oh, okay.
It was it was good seeing you. You had had some of your nice cars out there.
Yes, we brought the 2 Falcons out there. Yeah. that we race here locally. Yep.
So I believe you're a mechanical engineer.
Um, I'm mainly a packaging engineer. So
Okay.
we do like custom case inserts to get stuff from point A to point B safely, and it's all custom done. So that's primarily what I do. Yeah.
You know, I actually had this discussion point A to point B thing with a buddy today. They said everybody says point A to point B, like, oh, this car will get you to point A to point B, but nobody ever says if it gets you to point B to point A.
Oh,
Isn't that funny,
that's
Jason? Never hear that.
Or I guess you could say B to C, right?
right.
Let's say A is your house, B is the convenience store. I'm sure Michael's right on page here. He's thinking A is your house,
Yeah.
B is the convenience store, C,
Right.
or whatever is the next place. So really, there's A to B, then there's B to C.
Yeah.
Nobody ever
So
says that.
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Anyway,
Yeah.
that's the things I actually thought about that, and then I was talking to a friend today about it. I thought about that at like 2:30 in the morning in bed, and I'm just like, it's just stupid stuff that drives me crazy. I'm just weird. I know. But
You,
The
you know,
things that make you say,
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
and you're like, what am I thinking about this for? It's 2:30 in the morning. Who cares? Then I'm texting Jason, asking him what he thinks too at 2:30 in the morning.
I'm like,
Right.
what are you doing awake?
Yeah. Well, you were awake the other morning at 3.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
I shouldn't have been. I noticed in drag racing that's a popular thing too. Well, I got it set up. I just want to go A to B,
Right.
right? That's a big thing.
Well, that's all you want to do in drag.
Because in drag racing, most people can't think.
Right.
It's just A to B, and that's
That's it.
it. Don't worry about C or D.
Yeah. If you're going
Yeah.
to C, you're in trouble.
You're doing
Right.
an S turn.
On that, you're probably hitting a fence or a curb or something else.
Right. And if you're just stuck at A, that means
Right.
you didn't move at all. If you're at A.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah.
So, Jason, what did you think of the King of the Hills race? King of the Streets, I should say. Race.
I really liked it. I had a great time out there. I thought there was more people there and helping, watching, spectating than I really kind of thought there would be. Of all the races I've been to where they try the vendor setups, tent setups, the drag race is nice for that because you can be right along the actual track itself.
Right.
And you can actually watch the races from your pits in a vendor row situation, which is really pretty neat about drag racing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, it made me want to like participate. It made me want to kind of be involved. The race itself. I thought the organizer did a good job. I thought the guy that Coy, I believe, that's calling the races. I thought he did a good job too. I mean, that's not an easy thing to sit there, whatever it is, 8+ hours a day, and line them up.
Oh,
watch the light. It's not a difficult or not an easy thing to do. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm kind of looking forward to maybe going to a couple other this year, depending on when they are and what else we have going on. But I thought it was fun. I think it's kind of still drag racing is a little, I'm not going to say in its infancy, but they haven't gone through a lot of different things yet to the point where there's other classes out there and that type of thing where, like the cars that you build to me are kind of how I really wish it looked versus how the cars are that they actually look like out there. I kind of feel like we kind of skipped over some of the fun side of it and we went straight to high performance. Which that it's racing, that happens, but I still wish there was some preservation for on a high level of the classes where the real detailed and nice look licensed real cars were part of the event, because I think not having that is a little bit of a disservice to why people got into it in the first place.
I think you nailed the nail on the head there, on the money, actually. It's the whole reason we got into this local group here in Colorado, got into drag racing in the first place, because it was like, it emulated more of the real one-to-one scale cars when it first came out, when we first started doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I totally agree with any kind of hobby, and I've seen this in not just RC racing, but in slot car racing or anything that I've done in the past. Is you have that natural urge to take it to the next level, and the next, and the next, and the next. And unfortunately, down the line, some of the realism, as you just said, gets put on the back shelf in favor of all out performance, So I kept telling some of the guys here locally, it's like, watch, pretty soon you're going to see cars turning into door wedge shapes, and it's going to resemble nothing but a real, what you would see on a real one-to-one drag strip. And it is slowly getting there. I mean, I admire the advancements it made in such a short period of time, because back when we first started, you were flying if you were doing like 2.7, 2.8. Now it's like a full second quicker, which is an eternity in 132 feet. So you got to respect that, and I guess there's people that are like that. They take the sport to the next level. But then, as you said, guys like me or people with your same thought mindset, you wish you go, okay, but I like the realism aspect of it, so I want a happy blend between the two, where there is people going, no, it's all out performance, I'll get it, but like I said, in the same sense, I wish, as you said, there'd be another class that would, put more emphasis on realism and still enjoy the racing aspect and the competitiveness of it.
Yeah, I would like to see something happen there so we could maintain those kinds of classes, and
Right.
I think it would benefit the whole thing in general if that existed. And the look of the way you have your car is really the look, I think, that people are attracted to that. And it's not, what happens is, what I've noticed in this is, when people get into it because they like the that it reminds them of something that
Right.
that they had or they've seen. That's why they get into it. And then when you start to, people get rewired into just the speed side, and they keep going further away from what it looked like when they started. But for their standpoint, they don't care about what it looks like anymore. All they care about is how fast it is and if they're winning. And
Right.
which is, obviously I've done that forever, but but I think ultimately, to get people to keep coming in at the rate that that's healthy, I think it has to resemble something. And the way you have your car with the body and the engine accessories, and I think you could still make those cars, especially with the tires that we have today and things. You could make those cars run well and look good out there at the same time. I think would be a really cool addition. And the pictures of those style cars on the line with nice paint jobs and nice features, I think would do more for the business and the hobby than these one color paint jobs that
Right.
have no detail or no accessories, because it's just all about the quick build, right? It's the hot new body. I'm going to throw one color, silver, black, or white paint job on it, get out there and just try to be as fast as I can. It's, to me, it's great if you're racing, but from an appearance standpoint, it's not much to look at.
Yeah.
In the pictures, like to me, I want to see, the winner holding up this very cool looking realistic car. I think that would even be a better opportunity for the industry. But
Yeah. No, in fact, some of the people, or many of the people, I should say, that I make those parts for, they want to, exactly as you just mentioned, emulate something that they've raced in when they were younger, or they want to recreate a car that they've always liked and whatnot. But I have many people asking me, like, what? So you put that thing on you build it and you put it on a shelf, but here locally, I have to explain to them. I was like, no, we actually race these.
yeah,
They're in a much slower class. What is going to be this season, a 2.8 index, which is still reasonably quick, but not, of course, not near as quick as the fast people that are running Outlaw. But your chances of putting it on its lid are far less, than if you were to run this type of car in an outlaw class. So, and that's why I would never put that effort and detail into a car like the ones that I build to run in an outlaw, because it would make zero sense, because you'd be picking a dustpan and a broom at the end of the track on any
where's
given
my
run.
engine?
Exactly right. So that, and then when people understand that, they go, wait a minute, there's other things that you race, and then they go, yeah, we have a slower class that still, in fact, I can argue with anybody that in our slower classes, like the index class, we have more by the bumper races than you do in outlaw classes. And the guys here, when we thought, okay, it's going to be kind of tough to thread that needle, there are some guys here that have got it down to literally threading a needle to get right at that 2 point. Well, last season it was 2.9, but I mean, the close races we've had, if you were to take an audible microphone and pay attention to the crowds cheering at the time we race those, because the races are so close, it's much higher than any of the outlaw cars.
Mm-hmm.
So I enjoy close racing. I enjoy the realistic racing, and we're going to continue to promote that here in Colorado. I don't know about anybody else anywhere else, but it's really worked well really here, and it's gotten a lot of new people to the table, or to the racing, as you said, because it looks so real, but yet they're still fun to race.
Yeah, I mean I think that's the advantage of it, and I hope to see that hopefully that we can see that there'll be more of that out there and continue, because I think that will be the lifeblood of that segment. Because to me, when I see the cars going further, getting so far, all I think about is, sometimes I say to people, I'm like, look, we've been RC drag racing since the 80s. I mean, this has been around for a long time. And we have cars that are all carbon, all aluminum, and they are direct drive with foam tires. We have these cars already. And what we're really doing is we're taking this other class and we're moving it closer and closer to being one of those. And
Exactly.
I'm like,
Right.
we already have one of those classes. We could, if you want to run that, we can already do that. It's like it already exists. So there is a little, bit of preservation I think we have to do with some of those. And I agree. I think there's a place for sure for that outlaw. It's fun, it's fast.
Oh yeah.
It was entertaining, but I think I like to see some more of the other realism stick around for us, and hopefully continue to bring those new people in.
I agree. I mean, the Outlaw is great. And like I said, given its current path, I wouldn't change a thing about it. There is no doubt an endless, how can I put it, supply of competition. If you're not doing it locally, there's always a race somewhere, anywhere in the U.S. given the summertime. So for you to challenge yourself is never going to be any kind of how can I put it, go stale, you know. But I agree. From a more realistic standpoint, I hope it starts to become, like I said, move more instead of being in the background all the time, being on par with the outlaw, just as popular down the road. I hope. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well said.
Yeah. In regards to JC Concepts, are you uh, as compared to off road? What do you think percentage wise do you guys focus on? Is it like 50-50 or is it 80-20?
Oh, we can't give out numbers on the shows, Jason.
I don't have a really good idea of
See?
what the number is because I don't have it I mean, it's just a guess, but
Yeah.
I would say that, well, over the course of the years, you can say that 100% of it was on off-road racing,
Mm-hmm.
and then as time has gone by, we might be more like 70-30 or 75-25, but um, it's really it's difficult to be have the absolute best thing for every single segment out there. I know that for sure. So what we try to keep in mind is that we want to be involved with all these segments that are doing well and are popular because I like all of RC. To me, like people always ask me, like, oh, would you rather go to a real race or an RC race? And I'm like, to me, I'm an RC guy. Like, I would rather go to an RC race than a real race because I've always grown up as an RC racer. So to me, it's as good or better to me than a real race, which, everyone is going to be different. But to me, I like all of RC and RC racing. So we try to have product across the board for these different segments because I think it's healthy for us to do that.
Right.
It keeps it fresh, and we meet new people all the time. And all these groups, there are, for instance, like we're at the drag race, and I'm meeting people that are scale crawler guys,
Right.
and then I'll be at a scale crawling event, and I'm bumping into monster truck guys or I'm at a monster truck race for RC monster trucks and it's off-road racers. So they're all kind of and then there's new one, and then there's people that only do those segments. So I think it's important to be a little diverse, but I still think that our main thing is doing the off-road racing because that's where we have the lion's share of our top drivers, and I think it's in our best interest to still be the most committed there because that's where our best chances of winning and probably selling the most product continually. And it has shown that 10 scale off-road racing, whenever they consider it started, or say it was when the RC10 won the worlds in 84 or 85 till now, it's still going strong. So I think it's withstood the test of time, so that's good for the business. And then we try to ride some of these waves of success of other things and hope it's a long-term thing. Short course, we ran that wave for maybe pretty hard for 5 or 6 years, and it's still an item that's in the market, but it's not really highly raced as much anymore. But it was for 5 or 6 years. It was like drag racing is right now. It was everything, and if you could put short course name on it, it was a top seller. And a little bit that's where drag racing at least was at a year ago. Now it might not be quite as crispy as it was a year ago, but but there was a time you put drag racing on it, and it was a high selling item.
Right. Yeah. No, I remember when short course was like the RSC thing to be in. In fact,
Mhm.
that's how I got into off-roading again, because I used to race two-wheel drive buggies back in the early '90s and such. But when I saw the short course truck, I mean, I had to have it because again, it was more of a realistic looking truck, you know,
Mhm. Yeah.
rather than the stadium trucks and stuff. So, I mean, that's why I got back into off-road racing, or getting off-road RC, I should say, as well. But because of that realism aspect, you know, and I hope this outlaw thing continues to thrive and get new people in. But you know, some people have approached me though that saying, you know, it's getting expensive. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
it's not as cheap as it used to be when we first got into it. You know, so
No.
you know, before you could. In fact, I joke with a friend of mine, Philip here. Remember the days we used to go to a parking lot? We'd charge up a couple of packs and we would run all evening with drag racing, and not anymore. You know, so yeah,
And I think that it can be debated which side of it's more fun, right? And
right,
I
yeah,
think that um, that will eventually hurt it. That pricing you're talking about, the ever changing item of the month, that's the hot item of the month to have, and it's not
right,
even necessarily the cost. Sometimes it's just kind of it gets you down if you don't have whatever's the latest. You know, the
right,
Gotti Jr. effect of we were just talking about, where you know what's the point of getting the 2024 model if I know the 2025 is right around the corner, you know? And then you get discouraged, and
right,
you're like, well, you know, I'll wait for the 2025, and then it's like by then you're on to something else. So
right. And the other thing that I see, I've noticed that's somewhat could harm it, you know, with the advent of the GNSS module where you can, you know, tells you the speed, the elapsed time and stuff. You see that being posted all over drag racing forums. Here's my new best time, blah blah blah. So for with many people, now you're chasing that elusive, you know, number to what in your mind is competitive. And when you're not hitting those numbers, it may discourage you, you know, after some period of time where you invested not a lot of, I mean, in addition to a lot of money, but also time. If you're not hitting those numbers, it might discourage you from going to races, you know?
yeah, yeah, you're saying, hey,
So
if I can't run X time, why am I even going to go out there?
exactly, you know, and that's, you know, a few people I've heard that said before is like, why should I go to these national events or out of state events if I don't even have a horse in the race, you know?
Yeah,
But you know,
which
yeah,
which I think kind of comes back to, you know, one thing that I've talked about with this is with these big prize money events where I, you know, obviously a lot of the or all of the prize money is user generated, where you
mhm,
know, it's the guys that are signing up, that that money goes towards the the first place award. Where, and to me, I've always said that this works right now because a lot of people feel that they have a chance to win.
mhm,
So whereas if guys, you know, my example was if you had an open 1/8 scale off-road buggy race, you're not going to get 300 entries um, signing up to win the $30,000 or whatever the amount is, because people know that, you know, say the Ryan Mayfield of the world, they know, well, I'm not going to be able to beat him anyway. So
yeah,
they're like, they're not going to bother putting their $100 in because they already know the results a little beforehand.
mhm,
So I'm a little concerned that in the outlaw drag racing that it gets to the point where there's 20 people that you're really afraid of,
Right.
in the race. And when you see that those 20 people are in there, that you're like,
Hmm.
well, why am I going to put my $100 in? I know on my, when I've been testing, I can't make a 1-6 pass or whatever, whatever the winning number is. So why am I going to go and do that? I'm going to find something else that's either a funner race, an easier race, or something that I'm more competitive in. And then
Right.
you're going to have a hard time getting that $20,000 number because people are a little more, are like a little wiser to the effect. So I think that's one thing I worry about is, will people start not attending the events because they feel like the hot shoes are signed up, that money that money I'm putting in is already really going to these 20 people, one
Yeah.
of these 20 guys or racers, and I think figuring that part out, if it continues and the racers do continue to sign up, I'm excited that they
Mhm.
feel that they are competitive enough to win it and go for the big prize. But I feel like over time, um, I feel like that's not going to happen. I feel like that'll be a deterrent of who's signed up, and the hot people that are participating are the ones that are taking the money in the end.
There's a lot of truth to that. But what's cool about drag racing, though, is you need in addition to a fast car, you obviously need to be the driver to hit the. You could red light just as easy, have the
Yeah,
fastest car, and show up to a race and red light, and you're on a trailer. So there's a lot of other factors that have to line up for you to
yeah,
take a race, much like any other form of RC racing. But
that is an advantage.
yeah, right. And
Yep.
so sometimes you do get lucky, and some guy hits a wall or crosses the line. Yeah, but yeah, I agree. The more you know that you actually have a horse in a race to at least compete with, I agree that yeah, it makes it favorable to show up to an out of state race. But always trying to bet on luck, yeah, then you could be, behind the eight ball. you know, um,
Yeah, it's
you know,
you're very positive.
yeah, But like I said, but yeah, like I said, it's a cool segment of RC racing. I really think that its popularity. We always get more people asking about it here locally. How do I get into it? What do I buy? Et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah,
But I hope it's sustainable over a longer period of time. But again, as you said, with things getting more complicated, not only along with the car, but all the support equipment that you now need, those things add up, so.
a
And
fine line.
yeah, and with drag racing, what's unique about drag racing, as I said it before, is the prep work and preparation is 90% before you actually show up to the race. So,
Yeah,
and many people will argue that and go, well, it's all about the time and effort you put into it. And it's funny, I look back is when I used to go to off-road races here locally, you could only practice when you actually show up at the track. You knew if you had a horse in the race right then or not. Now, you gotta do a lot of the legwork prior to even before you get to the race.
yeah,
So it's a double-edged sword. Yeah, you can do it. You can test more and more, but then on the other side of the coin is like some people don't have the time to put towards that.
hmm
Uh, some people that have families don't have the time it takes to do this or prep as much as a single guy just that has all the time in the world. So
yep,
ups and downs to it like anything.
yeah. I'm still excited about it being in the business, and I hope that it continues to go. And I hope we have, there's, like we talked about, I hope there's a little bit of room for keeping that scale side and licensed bodies and stuff, because that I think helps the newbies, and hopefully we can kind of continue to see it there. And we've just had a lot of success in RC during the COVID situation. RC has really had a lot of successful genres. So hopefully we can continue to see it.
And I gotta ask, considering bodies, is there more stuff for the drag racers on the horizon from you guys, or is it?
We do have more options. I kind of laid out what our list is the other day, or coming up, and we have on the Outlaw side, we have the revised version of a Firebird body that we've been working on. So on the Outlaw side, we have that, and then we have 2 or 3 others on what I would consider. We did the Cobra Jet car. We did the Ford Mustang Cobra Jet not long ago. We got some others that are what I would consider like more realistic or real bodies. We got some more of those coming too. So I think we got, I kind of hope that we get another 2 or 3 of those in this as the first half of the year. Yeah, it'll probably be late summer, I would say, on some of these, and then the Firebird. Great. The Firebird will be close. So I mean, we got plenty of stuff for drag racing. We have it all. From the Outlaw side of things, we have a whole new front tire, front wheel, rear tire. We have all that stuff already made, been testing. So we have all of that, plus the bodies like we talked about between the Outlaw one and then working on the 2 or 3 others that are more real car looking.
Nice. I always say, no, I'm just going to focus on this car and leave it the way it is. And then another body comes out, and next thing I know, I got 10 different bodies that are still needing to be painted.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? And what I kind of like about the RC monster truck side is that's what people do is they build something around sort of a theme. Like they have this vision and they say, I'm going to turn this chassis into so-and-so vehicle. And then they get done. It's a project. They work on it. They put it together. They get it done. It's what they wanted. And then when that's done, it's like, okay, that one goes, now that one's over here. Now what's my next one? And then
Right.
And then it's like they come up with a new theme, they come up with a new thing, and they start all over again. And sure, you end up with 10, 11, 12 trucks or whatever, but
Right.
as long as they, as long as they still have the opportunity, I guess, or the money to do it, they keep making them. But I like it because it's like a process. You kind of envision what you want to build and you start building it. And when it's done, you get to see it. And then you have this next one and you start working on it. So I kind of see like that where you could do that in drag racing also. It's like, all right, now I'm building whatever, the Falcon. Then the next one I need the Camaro, or I need the Mustang, right, or whatever. And and I think that's what's kind of neat about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, with the whole drag racing appeal to me is when we started racing these cars in the beginning, we're like, oh, well, you're not going to trash it out as fast as you would, say, an off-road short course truck or anything. So the emphasis got to, as I said, put detail in your car and actually got to enjoy racing it,
Yeah.
But back then you didn't have a new body pop up every month or so. So,
Yeah.
Now you're like, oh.
Well, yeah, I always say when we get into racing and people say that you only have to you can only use one body to be fast. I think that's when it starts hurting the industry, because what you're doing is you're taking the imagination and the fun out of it. And it's the individualized side of it is not as cool anymore. Whereas when all these things start, I mean, I remember when we started touring car, it was exactly, touring car was like that. We picked bodies. I remember I had like I mean, it's not a touring car, but I mean, I had an NSX. I remember Paul came out, he had like a BMW body, and it's like he's got the exhaust tips in the back,
Uh-huh.
on the body, and we were racing touring car. And then pretty soon I got a super body, and then then it's just like then it gets to the point where it's the body of the week, and
Yeah.
then everyone's are like, oh, you can only run this body, and that's the one you have to run to be fast. And then they're all one color bodies, and then they're lightweight bodies, and
Yep.
that's the direction it always goes.
Yeah.
And when you get to that point, I think it's not as, even though you're going faster, in my opinion, it's not as good for the business because you took all the personalization out of it, and it's
The
not as
creative.
much. So
Mhm. No, I totally agree, because it's funny when we competed in the first King of the Streets event, you saw all kinds of bodies out there. You know, I remember it was like, what, 68 some odd people, but many different bodies. By the time all it took was some guy to crack off some ridiculous fast number in that Corvette body,
mhm.
and by the second one, we joked about it. It's like, okay, who's got the coolest looking Corvette body? Because that's all you saw there. That was
Yep.
it. You
Yep.
had maybe a handful of the other various bodies, but 95% of them were all Corvette bodies.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
know, and that's that you hit the nail on the head. It's just like you took the creativity out of it, because in everybody's mind, the perception was, well, in order to run fast, I need this body. That's it. You know,
Yeah. That
and
is it.
yeah, yeah. So, but like you said, it is what it is. You know.
I'm good. I wish there was just both sides. I'm cool with it going unlimited and whatever, and
Yep.
having to run something, but I would like to preserve that one that still gives us that opportunity to be individualized and have some fun. So anyway,
Yeah. Yep. I couldn't agree more.
Mike Fuller says the best way to win in drag racing is to do an actual team that runs exactly the same products right down to the wheel nuts. Then you compare notes each run and dial in a setup, and you'll make it to the final round. Doing it as a one-man show is not gonna happen.
well,
Is that true or
I mean,
false?
we're seeing that out there. To be honest, we're seeing that a little bit. I mean, when I kind of arrived to the King of the Streets, there was the two. There was the GRFX guys who kind of run a pretty close program with each other. They help, they tune, they go up to the line with each other. And then we had the R1 drivers. Then we had the 5-star tents. We had the associated tent, and there's others, but that was off the top of my head. And quickly it became sort of, you could see it was the GRFX guys. I think I'm saying that right. 5-7 Designs
Uh,
guys versus the R1 guys, racers. I keep saying guys. I always mean racers,
mhm.
because Samantha won the whole thing. So,
Oh,
Right.
but you could see it kind of materializing into a battle with these groups, and they are. You can see now, and I mentioned a Kirby, who's the other guy that raced oval. I mentioned that the racing reminded me of the whippoorwill days of oval. I don't know if Michael ever saw oval whippoorwill, but
Mhm.
how um, how that racing went with teams and pit guys, where you'd have a guy that came to the line with you in the old days of whippoorwill, and now in this drag racing, it seems like you need a person that's coming to the line with you. They're kind of helping you double check things, helping you with your tires, or helping you, watching you during the burnout. They're either videoing it, or they're making sure that your phone's running for your onboard timing system. Um, so there is a big
Mhm.
team aspect to it now, where you kind of want that partner that goes to the line with you, and is helping you.
Mhm.
And as Mike Fuller is saying, under these certain pits, there is a group 4 or 5 drivers that are sharing this info, running similar things, and it's hard to beat that.
I mentioned it. In fact, I mentioned it just yesterday or the day before, where I was telling it was an observation I had, and it pretty much, echoed what you just said. In order to compete consistently at the top level, you're far better off to be part of a team rather than an individual, because you ping pong ideas off of each other and you go, okay, this didn't work on my car, well, how about your car? And when you're starting to see like certain people be at the top all the time, or starting to be at major races, that they're clearly part of a team. And I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, and so it was fun. I like, to kind of wrap up that event in general. I mean, I had a great time there. I definitely want to do more, and I like kind of participating and being able to go to the different pits and talk to the different racers and kind of seeing what they were doing, and just trying to pick up on anything I can pick up on.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was good seeing you there. Like I said, we went there as spectators this time because we had too much going on beforehand, and I don't know if you've been in Colorado for any extended period of time. This is the bipolar season, so you could have snow one day and 70-degree weather the next day.
Oh, that's what's going on
Right.
here. Yeah.
So yeah. So it's sometimes it's sketchy to test and tune your car before that particular big race, and it helped with Tyler and Ashley pushing it back almost a month compared to last time they ran it. But like I said, for us it was, we just had too much going on here. We'll try maybe next year again, but we'll see.
And we'll talk to Tyler. Maybe we can incorporate that class that you guys have doing well in Colorado. And I don't know, maybe there's some way to kind of branch that a little bit and have another fun one there.
Yeah, I know there's. I've talked to a few race organizers that on the East Coast, and they're doing either a box stock class or again an index class. But you have to have a timing tree for an index class, and some or many clubs aren't at that level yet to obtain one. So that becomes a challenge. So, but yeah, I'm here locally. We also add scale points to your race result at each race. So it's a combination of not only your race, how you come up with during the race, but also how much scale points you get in addition to that. So it's a combination of both that gets you the final season, standings at the end. So
I like it.
we really try to push that realism with that index class. So, and like I said, it's really, people really have taken a liking to that, So we hope it continues.
Well, let's talk soon, Michael. Thanks for coming on.
Well, I appreciate you guys' time, and you all have a good evening.
Appreciate you. Thanks.
Take care, man.
Okay. Thanks. Bye.
All right. I'm awake now. Let's see. Actually, you had one more question there, Jason.
Okay.
Do you think you'll ever see Nitro drag racing make a comeback?
Oh, man. There was, I just went to the Gator Nats.
The Gator Nats.
I'm sorry, the RC Gator Nats, because there's a real Gator Nats in Gainesville. And there was one guy that came out with a Nitro. I think it was a Top Fuel Nitro RC drag race car, and I don't think so. I don't think that's going to work. No, because
why won't it work?
It's just a pain in the butt to get the car, to have them started, and to get them to the line, and just all the Nitro stuff. Just to me doesn't really play well into the really kind of the pacing of the race. Like it just kind of paces out. Like what ended up happening is the guy started it in his pits. He had to bring it through the pits, bring it to the line. And the way they run the nitros is essentially once that guy stages, the light comes down. So because they're afraid of the nitro cars flaming out and they have to restart them. So it's like as soon as the guy stages, he brings the car up to the stage, they basically start the tree and then the car ran and it like flamed out like halfway down the track and it just kind of coasted the last part. So I was like, I think it doesn't sound like a real car. I think that would be like, to me, like a bonus if it actually sounded a little more like a real drag car. Then I think it might be a little cooler, but it sounds like an RC, it sounds like a kind of like a muted 8-scale buggy in a way. It's like a little bit of it's a softer sound than like, to me, some of the other nitro cars. I don't think that's going to work. I think the electric ones it's just so much easier, I think.
I used to drag race.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Atari Dragster. Atari Dragster. They had a time that you had to beat. It was in the instruction manual, and they said, I think it was like under 5 seconds, or if you can get under 5 seconds, you were supposed to take a photo of that, and then send it to Activision, and they were going to send you something. I forget what it was. So I did it. I beat the time.
Okay.
It was early in the day when I beat the times, like a Saturday morning. So I had to wait for my dad to come home. This is back in the day. You had to keep the console on the whole time because I was so excited. Yeah, I had to pause the game and let it on that screen and pray that nobody bumped it or anything. You know what I mean? So I actually got a photo of, my time at B. I sent it in to Activision, and I never heard back from them. But that's a true story. That's a true story. I let that thing on for, I think, over 12 hours.
He gets home and you're just like, oh, finally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I was like, because he had the camera. It's not easy like today. But I wanted to play. I wanted to play the rest of my games, and I couldn't because I had to keep that Dragster game on to prove. And Activision never sent me. You know what? I got to reach out to them. I like emailing.
I mean,
companies.
you're good at emailing companies and kind of getting a resolution. So this might be your opportunity.
Yeah, I think I will. Activision. I'm going to email them about that.
Say, hey, you know what? In 1987, they'll be like, guys, delete.
I don't know when that game released. I think like 83 or 84.
Ooh.
I got to check this out. But yeah, I used to love that game. Atari Dragster. I as you know, I reached out to eBay. They got back to me, by the way.
Okay.
They just said they would take my suggestion and file it.
They file it? They said file it?
They didn't say that, but they'll take it into consideration. That's not a lie.
Yeah, your consideration was, let me decide if I want it to be authentic.
Let me decide if I buy a pair of sneakers that I want it authenticated or not.
Yeah.
Because I'm buying $100 and some dollar Adidas Ultra Boost.
Mm-hmm.
Do I really? It's not a collector's item. Do I really need to have it sent off to an authenticator and take another 2 to 3 weeks? Just give me the option. Do you want this authenticated or not? No.
I think what it is they're under. What's happening is I think that they were under the gun because it became a reselling opportunity for counterfeits. Okay. So I'm sure that their idea is, look, we don't want even the customer to be able to buy counterfeits from us. So we're going to authenticate everything, which I agree with. I think it's cool. But like you said,
it takes a while though to get your kicks.
Yeah, I ordered some recently, this was a couple weeks ago, and I got them a lot quicker than I thought I was. I know you went through a couple weeks, but mine were pretty quick. I ordered them like before I went to Vegas. When I came back, they were already there. So
Okay. No, maybe they're just like, screw it. Let's just ship these out to them.
it looks close enough. Looks
yeah.
close enough.
Anyway.
These are just Jordans anyway.
Nah, garbage. Jackson Anderson, are there any bodies in the works for the new RC8 B4?
Of course.
Okay.
I mean, the Nitro car doesn't really need one. The Nitro car, you can use our same S15 body that we make already. Spencer already ran it at the PMB. He was running our S15 body. But we do need a new one for the e-buggy because the chassis platform is a lot narrower on that car. So we'll have to have another one.
Okay.
Technically, Spencer also said you could run the Nitro side guards on the e-buggy and run a standard S15 body on that also, but he said he hasn't tried that yet.
Jeff Storm saying, this goes back to our they should be naming kits after some of these pro drivers. Rona Edition, he says, take my money already.
I agree.
All the J Concept parts in it, body, tires. Well, tires I guess you don't need to put in there.
They would look good.
No. I'm just going back through some of the older questions here quick. Matt Adams is saying, new Associated Stadium truck, the CFT 6.3. What's that mean, Jason?
Well, I think what he's alluding to is it would be cool if, when you were saying you wanted a Fend edition or a Mayfield edition, but since Cole Tollard won the Nationals this year in Stadium Truck, CFT also means Cole Tollard. It actually stands for Cole effing Tollard.
I was jokingly going to say that, but
so it's the Cole effing Tollard 6.3 Stadium Truck, which I think would be a cool idea too.
Yeah. Let's just lose the numbers and just go with addition names. Oh yeah, Brian Cross is feeling my pain that the Activision never sent me anything. It is a bummer, dude. I gotta find out. I wonder if I could Google that and see what the time was, and
I know it'll be up there. It's Google, right?
What the time was and what you got, because I can't remember. I think it might have been an Activision Dragster patch.
That's what you're supposed to get?
I don't know. I'm gonna look that up.
Maybe you might be able to just eBay, you could eBay one of these patches and just get one today, and you could
send the bill to Activision.
Yeah.
Justin Doyle saying X-Ray's system is the best. Well, just naming them by years.
Yeah, it's like a real car.
Yeah, I like that.
Puts a lot of pressure on you though, because now you have to meet a time, right? Whereas you could come out with the B6.4 whenever the hell you want.
I see what you're saying.
And if you have a year model, you have to make it in that year. Otherwise, you're screwed. So if you had some major delay, or it was caught on an ocean shipment or something like that, or whatever, all of a sudden you're like,
yeah, that's what we used to say at Trinity when we didn't have a certain product. It's on the barge. Got hit by a rogue wave out in the Fiji Islands. And we might have lost some product. We won't know until the ship comes in, though, sir.
Well, at least somebody's ship is coming in.
Jackson wants to know, is there any information on the 8-scale Worlds in September, and how is that going to work? Also, any predictions on the top 3 finishers and wondering if live RC or some broadcasting of the race will be available.
Yeah, according to Worlds as a Go in September in Spain. And it's at a really cool looking track. I haven't been there, but we sent Thomas there a few years ago to participate in the Euros with Runafolk. The results, hard to predict. Of course, I think the European drivers in this situation would be a little bit out of an advantage because they've been to the track before several times. The layout traditionally isn't any different. The layout's always the same. Although traditionally for the Worlds you have to change the layout a certain percentage. But at this point, I would give the edge to the David Ungaro, David Runafolk, and several other Spanish drivers that are very good on that track. Juan Carlos Canas. Those guys are going to be super strong. So the racers coming from the U.S. are going to have to work a little harder, maybe attend the warm-up, try to get up to speed, see if they can be competitive, as I would expect them to be. But it's going to take some time to be there. And as far as I know, I think the event's a go. I think the event's going to be broadcast by RC Racing TV. It's not going to be live RC. From what I understand, it's going to be RC Racing TV, who they do a good job also. And I think it's going to be it's going to be it's going to be good viewership, I guess you would say. I think the viewership's going to be high for that particular event.
What's the time difference on that thing?
Probably 5 or 6 hours to Spain.
Yeah, man, it's going to screw us up. It's going to be up all night trying to watch that. It's going to be like the Olympics. We'll see. You never know when anything runs. And
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Here's the thing. RCTV, just keep the stream on 24/7. That way there's no guesswork involved. You just, even when there's nothing going on, just keep it on. I don't know why they don't do that. Hey, Jason, real quick question by me here. Did you like my idea about coming into the pit stops in A-scale and changing the tires out?
What was this idea?
The guys are fueling, but what about changing the tires mid-race?
Like, you think you should have to?
Well, I guess you would probably have... I don't know. I guess you would have to make it mandatory.
Yeah, it would have to be mandatory.
Yeah. I'd love to see Mayfield just do it to everybody once and just then everybody would follow suit. I don't know. You think it's possible? Can you have it like a little JC wrench? You go. Zzz?
Of course you could. Yeah.
So why don't we do tire changes in A-scale?
Because you don't.
An hour-long main.
Lots of times you don't have to. That's really? What's kind of interesting about.
Because it always seems like if it's an hour-long main, the guys are like, my tires held up.
Yeah.
Seems like if you change it midway, 30-minute mark.
Yeah. What I think is there are races and there are times where the tires get slower, but I think that it's almost been proven that they're over at least half the time they actually get better as you run. And a lot of these guys run their fastest laps towards the end of these races. And I think going back to...
That depends on the track, right?
Yeah. But, going back to LCRC, I remember Mayfield and Truggy or Buggy, I mean, he ran one of his best laps with like a minute to go, I think, of a 45, and then Buggy was a 60-minute main. But there are many races where the tires actually get better as you run.
But that also depends on the track.
Mm-hmm.
So if you show up to a track, I could just envision being like, hey, we're going to have to do tire changes. The 30-minute mark at least.
The class we did that in was actually gas truck. There was a time where you
Oh, there's Almond chiming in right on cue. 10 scale gas truck quick change.
Yeah, we did it in gas truck,
Wow, I didn't know that.
and
Okay,
they made
so
a
I didn't come
really
up with some
cool.
innovative idea.
And they do it in 8 scale on road and several other on road classes.
Really?
Because they go through foams real quickly in 8 scale on road. Eight scale on road is like a space shuttle. Like it's like, it's like 4.5 minutes. You have to do a fuel stop, and then like whatever you have to do tires, because they're just mowing through those foam tires. And so they got quick change tires on 8 scale on road and other foam tire
So how do they
events.
change them quick? Do they have just an easy system?
It's got a lever that you push. That's the same way they had the gas trucks. But the 8 scale
Gotcha.
guys figured that out in on road a long time ago.
Oh,
But it's got this lever that you just flip down, and the tire pulls out. You slide a new one on, and it snaps back on. It's actually super clever.
man, I would love somebody to try that in off road.
Well, we did it in gas truck.
8 scale off road though. I'd like to see him come in, fuel up, change tires. You could see Adam Drake sitting there. Boom. That'd be awesome.
You could do it.
Man, please, somebody do it. I just want to see that happen. But you
I
can't.
can see all these.
Mandatory,
all these dads in the pits. First, they got to fuel the car, and then they're like, they're all nervous because it's their son, and they're like flipping out, and like the tires are flying everywhere, and they're, oh, where'd that tire go? Oh, it's under me over here. Hand me that tire. And then
maybe
you
just
got
make
like,
it for pros.
and then you got like Adam Drake, who's just like, he does it so calm that it looks slow, and so he's like fuel. He's like tire.
I could see
tire.
it now. Yep.
And it's like go, and like you got these dads that are just like, oh my god,
Dropping the tire.
rolling all over the place. And
can you imagine pitting for Mayfield if you had to do that? I mean, Drake would be the only guy who could do it, but I mean,
well, it's hard because I've pitted for Mayfield, and
yeah, but he makes you nervous, right?
Yeah, and I'm somebody that wouldn't. I think if I had more experience, I could look a little more like Drake and Mike Truey and these guys, because that's a little bit like my personality is a little slower like that. I understand these guys that are really high energy and they want to do it fast, but like to me, I think I would be a little slower, but or smooth. But when you're doing it and you don't have a lot of experience, you don't want to let the guy down. That's the nervousness.
Right. Yeah.
Is you don't want to let the person down, and you have a tendency to make mistakes. It's like when it's like if somebody's watching you do something and then you're worse at it. And like, it's like if you're backing up a trailer with a truck, and it's like you got like 3 guys watching you do it, and you're just like, there's no way I'm going to get this right with 3 people watching me, because they're all like, you got to turn this way. No, turn this way. Because everyone's an expert, right? That's watching. Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, you messed up. You got to straighten it back out,
Right.
Whereas like, it's like, hey, just let me do it. I'll be fine. I'll do it. But if like, when you're pitting, you don't, and you got these either people watching, and most of all, you have the driver watching you. That's the toughest part, because you just watch somebody like, in Ryan's case, he might run like a 9-minute stint where he's just hauling ass, no mistakes, no bobbles, and he comes into the pits, and you're thinking, all right, all I got to do is put fuel in this thing and send it back out. But some reason or another, like, that seems harder than running the 9 minutes without the crashes at this point.
Right. Wow. Almond's saying, doesn't Kyosho Stadium truck have a quick change on all 4 axles on their 2-wheel drive stadium?
Yeah, and I believe their RT5 did. I don't even know if they're still making that truck or selling that. Did they go to a 6? But yeah, they did have quick change front and rear.
Wow. I didn't even know this. Yeah, Almond, mandatory tire change. Yeah. He's saying like this competition cautions. Matt Adams is saying, what's your thoughts on a 30K purse off-road race?
Well, I mean, I think we've been talking to the drivers about this quite a bit already. Live RC and Brandon, they brought it up to the drivers and to us, somewhat recently. You don't know what to expect. You don't know what to expect until you do it. A lot of these races, you've never been there before. You've never been to some of these locations. So you don't have any experience in being there and knowing what the atmosphere is going to be like. And I think a lot of times that's what, is kind of fun, is experiencing a different event or a different location, because it's, you got a different atmosphere going on. And so I think we have to run it to see how it's going to go, see how the payout works. I think there's some good things about this in terms of being at a large event, such as this Mid-America Envisions event that they're having. I think there's going to be some good things about it, and there's going to be some learning experiences for everybody. We never seem to have enough of those. They've done P&B for 15 years, and people are still saying they want to change it, right? So it's like, this is the first time, and I think people want to compare this right away to something that's happening in RC drag racing with a payout. But this is a lot different because this money is a lot that's coming from the promoter, not Live RC, although they have a stake in this race in terms of putting it on, but there's somebody coming up with this money. It's not coming necessarily from the racers like drag racing. If drag racing and you have 200 racers and everybody pays $100, you got $20,000 purse. In this, that's not how this is working. This is coming, at least in, to make a long story short, it's coming from, say, the promoter. The person that owns this property is putting up the money for the racers to win, which is different, a lot different than the drag racing money. I have, I'm kind of split on what I think about the racing for cash money. And we've done it successfully. At this point, it seems like we've done it both ways. We've had races where there is no money at stake for the winners, and they've been successful. And we've had races where they race for money and that have been successful. So the one thing's for sure is it doesn't seem to determine everything. It doesn't determine that the turnout of the race is dictated by racing for money or not. It still has to be a great track, a great race, and have hype. I think is more important than necessarily the money side for the racers. I tend to think that these things happen more easily once or twice, where somebody is willing to hand out prize money like this, but it doesn't happen long term.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing if you can have prize money from sponsors or prize money comes from somewhere else, but when somebody personally has to come up with $20,000 to $30,000, and this is spread out over multiple classes. One guy is not getting $30,000. It's spread out over positions and a couple classes, and then you have to do some things perfectly in the race to achieve more money. So there's the number is there, but to unlock, I don't know if that's like is that a video game? Is that a video game term? But to unlock the top money, some some stuff has to happen for that racer to unlock the most amount of money possible. So
Right.
I'm looking forward to being somewhere different and trying it in front of I guess some crowd of people, which I think is the industry incentive of attending. The industry incentive of attending is that there's being some TV thoughts thrown around that this is being filmed for television.
Okay.
And then there's a lot of spectators and people there racing other things that get some more eyes on RC, which is good. So that's the industry side of it. And then from a racer standpoint, they're like, oh, there's money on the line. So, yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, we're all looking for in RC is we're looking for that moment that we can stand next to our guys with a big check that says $30,000 and we were part of the success, right? That's what, as a industry or as a team, you kind of dream that could happen one day, that your Mayfield or your Dakota Fend or your Spencer Rivkin or Ty Tessman or whoever your guy is, that they can win. They have this big check and you can get next to them and kind of, hey, this is our guy. Congrats. Great weekend. We won something and it was on television. We haven't had that yet. And I think that everybody is motivated in the industry to see if that can happen, but we haven't had it happen. So up until that point, we're all just spending money to try to get that that moment, I guess.
Brian Cross is saying it's $150 for a wristband, which gets you access to all events on the property.
Yeah, that's true. Plus the entry fee. So it's $150 to get in the park, and then you sign up to race, which is another $50 for your class. And then if you run 2 classes, another $50. So $250 if you want to run 2 classes and get in the park. A little bit of sticker on that entry fee, but there are some cool perks and amenities. There's some concerts going on. There's like a AC/DC tribute band, and then I've heard of like maybe, some other things, 3 Doors Down, or I don't know, something like that. Somebody else cool. Weezer, I heard Weezer.
Oh, really?
I don't know if these are the real bands or they're tribute bands. I know
Probably tribute bands.
I know AC/DC. It said, I thought it was the real AC/DC at first, and I'm like, dude, that's crazy. And then I'm like, that would be awesome. But then I saw when I went to the website, I was like, oh, it says tribute band. Like, oh, well, that's still cool. I mean, even
whatever.
Get
Jeff
they look
Storm
like
to
the
play
real.
there.
Well, then hey, I'm sure he can do Thunderstruck and Hell's Bells and Money Talks, Shook Me All Night Long. Is that a name? 4 or 5 songs? Is that pretty good?
Yeah, it sounds pretty good.
Highway to Hell. I'm missing a famous one.
I guess we can. Flavia liked my mandatory tire change idea.
Who didn't?
Everybody.
They didn't like it?
No, they loved it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, everybody loves it.
You're gonna have to email it in.
Tire changes.
Okay, so we can incorporate my race where you have to build all your stuff at the race and then do a tire change too.
Yeah.
This is like our make believe cloud in the sky.
Yeah.
Type event.
Make it happen. I want to see. I just want to see that tire changes. Like you said though, you'd have to look at the track, make sure it's for the oh yeah, this track we're gonna have to do tire changes.
Well, it's like you said. I think it's more of an aspect to the race. It's
and
more
I don't know
like
if you make it mandatory though for like the pros. It'd be like, hey, well, is Dakota gonna do tire change or not? It's like, how exciting would that be?
Well, it's another thing to talk about. Like that PMB, they had the Joker lane, and it's like that's like all Scotty and Tyler Hooks can talk about during the thing is the Joker lane because it's such a huge. I mean, it's a 10-second advantage to hitting the Joker lane. So it's like
So is that always at PMB, the Joker lane?
it hasn't always been. That's something probably within I'd say maybe 4 or 5 years.
Okay. I thought it was awesome. I love the Joker lane. To add
And
another, I know
another-
you don't like the Joker lane, but
Yeah, to me, it's just a gimmick. But
yeah, but it adds. Doesn't it add another element of strategy?
when I watched online, it was all they talked about. Like it was really a nice conversation piece.
But it doesn't add. Don't you think it adds another?
What I don't like
element?
about it is I always look at it from the standpoint of the best driver, and I think that it actually hurts. It diminishes the value of your qualifying position, I think. Now, granted, you can say that the TQ1 Truggy, the TQ1 Pro Nitro Buggy, and then second qualifier won E-Buggy. So you could say, well, there's still the top three qualifiers. But what I think is adds more chaos to an already difficult mindset. So, like to me, if you're the TQ or anywhere in the top, you have to use your Joker lane on the first lap. Otherwise, if you don't use it on the first lap, you go back in the pack, and now you're dealing with traffic, and it diminished your whole TQ value. So I almost think that if you're the TQ, and if you're feeling comfortable and you're driving clean, you take the first three Joker laps right in a row. You just go all three right in a row, and you get out clean, and you try to just make that lead as big as you can, and then you run it. Because if you're in the pack at all in an 18 car field, say for instance Mayfield was TQ and he didn't take the Joker lap, I think having that situation where you can be in the middle, say you TQ'd but you went to ninth on the first lap, I think that it kind of hurts you. And of course, but that all depends on the cars that are around you. So if you get in a pack of cars where you're getting tied up, you're fighting for position, you're losing time, right? It's just all about time. So you're losing time. But I think if you happen to be in a position where you're kind of by yourself on the track, then you're not getting hurt by not taking the Joker early. So it's really a situational kind of thing that I don't really like, but I think people like it. I think drivers like the race, and they like that element. To me, I would be just frustrated about it, but
I get that. As a viewer, though, like Justin Jubert's saying here, having Mason save two of his Jokers into the end, but still in the hunt, made it exciting. And it was. I was watching that.
Yeah, so did I, and I agree with him. I think it did definitely. It's like, but I kind of felt like it's like, all right, so well, what I'm thinking to myself is, what I'm waiting for is for him when he cuts the track two times at the end. Is that a better time to do it than when Mayfield and Dakota cut the track two times towards the beginning of the race? Like, to me, I'm just like, why didn't we just race like heads up the whole time without the strategy of the thing? But I get it. Like you said, it was exciting. I was wondering when he made his two, and he held off right to the end, which made it better from a viewer standpoint. He held off.
How many Jokers did you get?
you got one per 10 minutes, so they got three
Got it.
in a 30-minute run.
Ah, okay. And you didn't
And
have to use them, right?
no,
Okay.
no, you didn't. And then if you used one extra, that lap didn't count, so that was the penalty if you did it when you weren't supposed to.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it made it exciting for people. They like it at the race. I think they like using it, but I don't know. I like it a little more traditional, I guess. But I see where it's cool.
Yeah.
Um, to me,
Justin Juber's saying,
what I wouldn't want to happen
what?
is if I'm in the race and I use, say I happen to use the Joker line when another guy is using it, right?
Right.
And we hit going through the Joker lap.
Oh,
And instead of it being a 10-second bonus, 10-second advantage for me, it's only a 5-second advantage. But my competitor, when he chose to go through it, it was a straight 10 seconds. And now I'm 5 seconds behind because I chose the wrong time to do it with somebody else, and we collided and had a problem. Which I guess you could say that at any moment you can have an issue on the track that costs you time. I just kind of see it as like another chance for it not to go right. I know Dakota did the Joker lap. I think it was on the second lap of E-Buggy. Was it E-Buggy? He came through and then he hit the outside straightaway wall and his wing mount broke.
oh,
So
shit.
he ran pretty much the whole E-Buggy main with no wing in the back.
Wow.
And he was fast.
So much for that wing.
Well, Mayfield's like, he was telling me when I talked to him, he said, I couldn't tell exactly what had happened to Dakota. He's like, but I caught him. And he's like, I'm kind of duking it out with him. And I'm thinking, oh, this is Dakota. I got to try to get a move on him. He's going fast. And he's like, I got by him. And he's like, and then I'm like, wait a second. This guy's running with no wing. He's like, why am I racing with this guy if he has no wing?
Why am I racing with a wing on?
Well, no, he's just thinking like, this guy's fast without a wing.
Right,
Like,
right.
I should be faster. I have a wing on. Like,
Yeah.
he's like broken. So
Wow.
he, but yeah, he didn't notice until they were that close on the track. But yeah, Dakota went through, and he made a mistake. I guess he hit the outside of the pit lane or the wall, and I don't know, something happened. He broke his wing off.
Yeah. Jubert's saying, as someone who never used the Joker lane before, it was nerve-wracking on when to use it. Good point.
Yeah.
Sure, there was other people in the same boat.
Yeah, it's a great point that he makes.
On top of being nervous racing, they got to figure out when you want to use the Joker lane.
Yeah, and as a driver, an RC driver, you're thinking about all these things while you're racing, and yeah, it's tough.
I'm taking it first, especially if you're not like a, very good driver. I'm going first. Well, if you're not a good driver, what does it matter, I guess?
Still 30 seconds over 30 minutes.
Real quick, and we'll wrap it up here. I got a few more. I got an interesting comment here, and I don't know where it went. Oh, here it is. Jackson Anderson was saying, if you did the tire change, couldn't you get away with a softer tire that could help with increased lap times also?
No, not necessarily, because it's not cut and dry like that in RC, like it might be in another in another form of racing. Because sometimes hard tires are fast in RC, and softer tires are slower. So there's a lot of like mix-ups with this in RC compared to like real racing. You can't just I think the thought process on his end would be, well, I run the softest compound tire, so I'm faster, but I have to change them more often during the race. But we don't normally really see that. Like if the track is wearing a soft tire a lot in RC, then traditionally a harder tire is actually faster anyway. so you don't really see the advantage of this extra soft tire in a condition where it wears it out prematurely. It's kind of complicated, but anyway.
Jackson also said, I was able to jump, concerning the Joker lane, I was able to jump 6 spots in my Nitro main, taking it to past the pack that was racing it out. There you go. Joker lane.
Yeah.
Jubert's saying he used his Joker lane early, and he went from 14th to 2nd for a lap.
I actually saw that.
I did too. I was like, I think I commented in the chat. I'm like, holy shit, Jubert's in 2nd.
Well, but what I was confused at is, I want to say that it on Live RC it doesn't show when you use the Joker lap.
No.
It doesn't show that as your
think
fastest lap. It doesn't show it as your fastest lap.
Right.
So I was like, how is Justin in 2nd, but his fastest lap is 1 minute and 4 seconds?
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
I was like, his fastest lap's 1 minute 4, but he's in 2nd. I'm like, he must have got a hell of a start compared to everybody else. And then I'm like, oh, he must have used his Joker. Then I kind of figured it out.
Yeah. How many times were you able to? Just 3 times, you said? Oh, in a 30 minutes. So
once per 10 minutes.
Right. Okay. Yeah. What's that?
I was seeing if you could see Jazzy sleeping over here on the couch, but she got up there by herself, I guess. Went to sleep. Wow. It's really strange.
Jazzy's bored.
Yeah.
I'm just scanning through here quick and we'll wrap it up. Almond saying, honestly, I've been watching Gene's old RC racing videos, 91, 92 this week on my tablet after saving them, and I don't get tired of watching them. And the RC10 pole crossing contest in 92. You know what that was?
Yeah.
What was that about?
We were at this race, the Roar Nationals in 92, was at Norms in Texas. And, Cliff was just kind of clever and would come up with kind of like little bets or little things that maybe he could do with the RC car that that other people didn't think could happen, I guess. So he made some like they took tires, and maybe even Mark and Brian, I would say Mark Pavitas and Brian Kinwald probably either made the tires or helped Cliff make them, but they made like little paddles on his Yokomo tires, and he was like, I think I can go across the pool.
I think this was an RC car action.
And Cliff went across the pool with the car with the paddle tires.
Wow.
And it worked. So they were like, they're all super pumped because it worked really well. And so it was pretty neat to see. They also did I didn't participate in the bike. There was like it's almost like an indoor skate park, or it must have been a skate park. Probably wasn't for bikes. It was probably like a skate park next door. And the guys brought their cars in there and were going like up the skate ramps and down. I think that's on that same video. And that was really neat too. It's neat to hear Brian's voice in those videos. That's what's kind of cool about it.
Yeah. I'm going to save that question or comment for the very last. All right, don't go too involved in this, but would it even be possible to do a double compound, Jason? Like Heavy Lips treads be gold compound, and when it wears to slicks, it's a silver compound. Wow. All right. That's a whole nother show. It'd be great for tracks that start off on treads and end the weekend on slicks. Just a thought. So, wow, a silver under the gold.
I don't
Oh,
think that you could do it quite the way that
what a great
he's
idea! Though. Let's
describing.
try it.
Well, you couldn't do it exactly the way he's proposing,
You can't. You
but
said
not the way he's proposing. But
as
there
the gold
have
wears
been,
down, all of a sudden it turns silver.
yeah, I don't, not
We should try it,
necessarily.
dude. Don't let anybody know, but we should try it.
You know, that's a little over my head, to be honest.
Man, that is crazy.
Or my technical
I love it.
side of it, but yeah, that's been something that a lot of people have asked for throughout the years because,
Really?
yeah, because everyone has that feeling of what they don't have on is the right thing. So, like, just for instance, like
Yeah.
people might say, well, I went out on silvers, but I wish I had gone out on golds, right? Like
Right,
that's
yeah.
something you would say at a race. And so what's better than combining the two, right? Like that's what people, like people say that, right? As like in their mind, they're like, well, if I could just have both at the same time, that would be, then I wouldn't have to decide if I could just have both. And, but sometimes you got to choose, but
I guess that wouldn't work though because
well, the way that these items are made, I'm not saying that it's impossible. I've heard of it being done, not as he's proposing, but maybe half and half, one half the tires this, one half the tires that. I've heard of this, um, being done, but what it all comes at a cost.
right.
So the more difficult you make all this, it all costs more. And then the more it costs, the worse it is for the business. So we're not in a position where everybody's given unlimited money to race with an unlimited expense. This isn't like something where somebody else is paying the bills and there you don't have to sell anything to make up for it. There are certain things in either racing or certain things where you have a somewhat unlimited budget and you're not racing what you have to sell. We have to race what we sell. That's the whole idea is we're either racing what we sell to try to sell it, or we're making something that wins or does well to try to sell. That's how you stay in business. We're not just granted a huge amount of money or sponsored. The company's not sponsored to just make things at all costs, whatever it costs. So that's where this is different than than other things where we have to make things to sell. And the more complexity we add to all these things, the cost goes up.
Mhm.
And then ultimately, whoever is paying for it, they see that extra cost. So I understand what anybody is wishing for from a racing and a competitive standpoint, but over time, it can take its toll. Is what we talked about with Michael Hahn and the drag racing part.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused on that because you go to a track, you're looking at it, you're like, okay, we got to run silvers, right? Why? I don't know. Why would you want to run golds then later?
Well, sometimes the track
Change it
changes over time.
during the race? Is that what you...
Well, it depends how long the race is.
Yeah, so this would be something for like 8 scale, an hour long main.
Yeah, or
Yeah,
what
let's just do
what
tire changes.
what he's kind of what he's kind of talking about is sometimes when you start on a certain track condition, it's nice to have silvers because the track is just to say, for instance, it's nicer to have silvers when a track is freshly built or
Right.
new. Or by the time that the track gets broken in and your tires wear down, you're on a different compound, but the track now is accepting that compound better because it's broken in. So I understand what he's saying. It's just kind of,
Man, my brain's fried on this one. I understand what you're saying now. I thought you meant.
I mean,
the race is
there.
going on.
I understand this. To me, I understand this better than Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox, or like, or like what's the other, or the Kardashian and the other guy. What's the like?
Kanye.
I understand these tire questions and dilemmas much better than I understand those things. I tell you.
But we try to decipher all that stuff though in the chat.
Oh yeah, we can break it down.
Yeah. I don't know. Forgetting what. Let's see here. Oh yeah, Brian Cross is saying Pete with Kardashian. Jackson's saying she can do way better. Kardashian can do way better.
I agree. But that's not for us to decide.
Jackson's also, not only did I fry my brain thinking about those tires, so did Jackson. This is a tough one. He also says, I was also looking at it in the view of a racer using the same set of tires throughout the weekend. Yeah. Someone back. Almond saying, remember to pat yourself on the back if you've never seen a Kardashian episode. Oh,
I never have.
it's a shame.
Never seen it. I have seen one of her videos though.
I saw one episode. That was about it.
I saw.
What
I didn't see the
video are you
show.
talking about, Jason?
I didn't see the show, but I saw a video.
Oh, because
I don't remember which one it was.
I think there's a sex tape that just dropped. I thought maybe that's
Really?
what you were talking about. Yeah.
Oh no, that wasn't it.
With the Kardashians.
That wasn't it. That
Okay.
wasn't it.
Okay. Well.
We're almost done here.
Yeah, we're done. I think so. I'm going through. We got a question there that I wanted to explain something, but man, you could be here another hour. I think with this one. Well, Corey Jordan wanted to know, can you explain the 8-scale tire for the buggy and truggy and when you would use them over the reflex tire? Can you wrap that up in 30 seconds or less?
Maybe the new tire. Oh yeah.
When you're on Corey's show, you could talk about that.
I think, honestly, that tire is really experimental for us. We kind of thought that we had a lot of different options already. So we took a couple shots at a few things that were different, and we're actually learning about it ourselves. I mean, I was really unsure how well it was going to work in general. I had when we worked on this, I didn't do the CAD on this, but it was the concept that I wanted to use with the way the pins in the diamond shape. And I didn't know how well it was going to work at all. I thought it was kind of and there's a lot more going on than just the look, which people see the look but there's a lot more kind of going on. But anyway, it's been surprising. It's been surprising because we've run it on Lomi track at Nitro Challenge.
Right.
And then they just won the nationals on a hard, rocky, blue groove, bumpy, brutal track. And so we've ran the tire in 2 different conditions, and it's been surprising both times. We didn't use it at PMB. We've kind of put it away until we have some some more tracks we can try it at. But we got the
Yeah.
2 races we wanted: Nitro Challenge and the Roar Nats. And but it's been surprising. We don't have a complete list or idea of where it's better at than, say, reflexes right now. It's a little experimental, but it surprised us on 2 different surfaces already. So that's all I can say right now.
Okay, and Almond's saying lightning round Q&A, and he only sent me 2, so here we go. Jason, pizza or hamburgers?
Hamburger.
Pizza. And stadium truck or 10 scale touring car? Oh, please.
Oh, wow.
Stadium truck.
How long do I get to answer?
You're struggling on that? I don't know. How
I
much
am.
longer do you want this show to go on? We're hitting 3 hours.
I'm going to go with my vintage and original love, which was Stadium Truck.
Yeah,
that was
there
where
you
I
go.
started. I loved Stadium Truck when I started, and I loved the RC10T and the JRXT and the LXT today. But for the most part, Stadium Truck today really sucks.
Oh.
I almost say that I like touring car better today than I like.
How does
Stadium
that class
Truck.
suck? Stadium truck's awesome.
It just doesn't work very good anymore.
Why not?
That's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother. You know what? 13.5 on carpet Stadium Truck is really cool. Which just seems like a little too new millennium, but
Yeah.
I think that Stadium Truck with a 13.5 motor on carpet, I love watching those guys run those. But on dirt, they don't look very good at all. When we ran RC10Ts and man, they were amazing. They were great, but they're just not like that anymore. The surface has to be right for them to be good, and I almost think I would like touring car better. But I'm going with my original favorite, which was Stadium Truck when I started.
Wow. Yeah, we're gonna wrap that up. Justin Doyle made a comment earlier. I think it was him that said, hey, what's up? No JC shirt or Rip shirt. Gotta review my contract. Well, I'm paying tribute to Scott Hall, who recently passed away. One of my favorite wrestlers.
Tough times don't last. No, bad times don't last. How does it go?
Bad times don't last, but bad guys do.
There you go.
And we'll wrap it up on that one. 96 Nats. Almond says he got it in. Roll the credits.
I have a nice picture from 96 Nats saved on my favorites on my phone, by the way.
Really?
But I don't have the one I really wish I had. Gene sent me a great photo of me getting my second place trophy with the trophy girl that was very, at least I thought at the time, very good looking.
Yeah.
It was very good looking.
I think not to extend the show any further, but I thought I had the photo of the trophy girl here.
Oh, come on. Let's see if I remember.
Jason's like, we got time. Is this it? Yeah, this might be the photo. I'm blocking the trophy girl. Hold on now, 1 second.
Yeah, your chair.
Yeah, my chair's too big. How do I bring that up on the
YouTubes?
I'll just move. Which way do I got to move? I never know.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's her.
There she is. Right there.
The quintessential brunette.
Yeah. She was for that time.
Yeah, I thought
hot.
it was. Yeah, I thought she was a very good looking girl for that. I had a great picture too. Gene sent it to me, and I wish I still had that one. I don't know why I don't have that one.
Yeah, you could have sent it to me. I could have put it up there.
I know.
What were you thinking, bro?
Would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
There it is.
I'm still trying to work to get Chris Bing on the show. Our schedule's just not matching up.
Well, when you take 2 months off. I mean,
Yeah. Well, hey, you've been traveling for 2 months, man. This is the first time you've been home for like 2 months. I mean, you're like a rock star out there. Every week he's gone. So, okay. Thanks for joining us. That was, man, we hit 3 hours. Hope we don't get any complaints about that, like we used to in the past.
I like it. I think it's good.
Yeah. 3 hours. Yeah. Just pause it. Fast forward.
Guess no dinner tonight, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, I gotta stop reading the comments. And Jamie Lowe's asking, hey Larry, did you get my elephant ears? No, I did not. Forgot all about it. You know what that is, Jason?
Nope.
It's fried dough. Anyway, it's awesome stuff. All right, that was episode 238. Don't forget to go visit J Concepts over at jconcepts.net. Show them some love.
We did launch a new website too.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, I now have to go check this out. Why don't you tell me that, Jason? Oh, is this the one that you're... so this is like very mobile friendly?
Well, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. I'll check that out. No, I don't want that. Chrome tab, J Concepts, share. Yeah. Yeah, let me just scroll through this quick. This is it.
Yep.
Okay, what's different? Oh yeah, I see. It's
Yeah, the whole thing's different.
yeah. Wow. Okay. J Concepts vlog. Got everything up here.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the now hiring section?
Yeah, where is that?
Yeah, I like the layout. All right, that works. Go check that out, everyone. jconcepts.net. Go over there and crash the site.
Yeah, please.
All right. We'll catch you on for the next one. Everybody have a happy Easter.
That's right.
All right, Sunday. You going to be out in the boat on Sunday, Jason?
You know what? Now that you mention it, not
See?
my boat, but my sister and my brother-in-law,
Yeah, that's what I'm
their
saying.
boat. I might
You
be on
usually
the
do
boat.
that in the holidays, right?
There you go. Yeah, you know it better than I do.
Yeah. Jason's like, how long are we going out again?
Yeah. That's my first question. You want to go on the boat? Well, how long? Well, then you don't need to be on the boat.
I'll just wait over here with Jazzy.
I'll check Live RC or search.
There's no
Facebook.
big races this weekend, is it?
I'll put something up. You know what? There actually is. I was supposed to go to Raleigh, North Carolina this weekend. I canceled my trip. I'm a little bit sad.
Oh. It was a monster
But
truck.
yeah, it was TNT's Unfinished Business.
Oh, wow. That
was
sounds like a pay-per-view.
Yeah. And long story short, my favorite 3 years in monster trucks was 88, 89, and 90. And they had a TNT monster truck series. And this was going to be sort of like a reunion, or it is a reunion. And a lot of the old school guys out there, the champion, I would assume the champion from the 88 season, the 89 season would be there, the trucks, and the champion in 90 was Bigfoot, but I don't think Bigfoot was going to be there. They couldn't get the truck there for some reason, which is kind of a super bummer, but yeah, I'm kind of bummed that I was supposed to fly out this morning to go there, but I canceled my trip because it looks like 75 to 80% chance of rain there tomorrow.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I was like, well, I don't know if I want to fly there and hang out for rain. No Bigfoot plus rain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did the podcast instead.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
And no dinner.
And no dinner. Well, we get it now. 9:30 at night.
What do you
10
order
o'clock.
at 9:30?
Oh my
What do you
God.
order at 10? What do you
All right,
order
I'm
at
outta
10?
here.
What do you order at 10?
I don't know.
I mean, what's
What
open at 10 that we can order?
Sheets.
I don't have that.
You got to have something similar to Sheets down in Florida.
Walmart.
Oh, God. Don't go to Walmart at 10 o'clock at night. All right, guys. We'll catch you on the next one. Good luck,
All right,
Jason. Happy Easter.
I
what's that?
enjoyed
Jason don't
this
wanna end the show.
episode.
What's that?
I enjoyed this episode. I thought it was cool that Michael called in.
Yeah.
We'll
yeah,
try to
yeah.
get some other. We'll try to get some more guys to do it in the future. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I had the link out there, so you guys look out for that. Anytime we go live, if there's a link, you can just join us, and like Michael Hahn did. And, you guys went off on drag racing. I mean, what do you
That
guys
was
say?
good.
Brought back memories for me of Atari Dragster, so that was good, I guess.
Put the drag racing in the title. We'll get some more drag racing listeners, and pretty soon we'll be like, as popular as Tim Smith.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll have to think about that. Yeah, I'm going to go and look up that dragster stuff and let you know in the chat, Jason.
Okay.
I'm very
Dragster
interested to see what
stuff.
they're going to give you. I got to find
Yeah.
out Google.
Yeah.
So that's my...
It's going to be that decoder thing that says, make sure you drink your Ovaltine. That's what you would have got.
Son of a bitch. Oh, man. Yeah, well, that's me and drag racing, Atari. So, all right, guys, we'll catch you on the next one. Jason, somebody's coming after Jason out there, so he's got to go.
See ya.
All right, guys, later.